Welcome back to the Fast Life Podcast, which is brought to you by Simpson Motorcycle Helmets. For the last 6 years, I have trusted the Simpson brand to keep my head safe out on the road. Their aggressive look has always stood out amongst other helmets, and Simpson has been providing us with quality-built motorcycle helmets that offer many different models, finishes, and visor options to fit your taste. Head on over to SimpsonMotorcycleHelmets.com where you can check out everything they have for you and give these guys a follow at Simpson Motorcycle Helmets on the gram. On this episode, we have the homie Chopskee in the house, in the studio, although the whole camera system went down while we were doing the live. So we ended up just recording this through the audio version, and here it is for you. Also in the studio, we got the homie Lotlizard, who is now a bona fide photographer, still a stunt master, and all around awesome dude. So happy to have both these guys in here to talk cameras, which we talk a lot of nerdy camera stuff in the beginning of this podcast before we get into some more topics. So stick around, check it out. It's a great podcast. Learn a lot about photography and that side of the motorcycle industry in this episode. So let's check out these sponsors, and then we're going to get right into it. Our longest running podcast supporter, Lexin Moto, and our Bluetooth headset of choice here at the Fast Life since 2019, is still here providing you with one of the best Bluetooth headsets on the market, the G16, which I personally use on my motorcycle rides to check out everything from my favorite playlists to my favorite podcast. The battery life and sound quality is amazing on these headsets. Earlier this year, Lexin dropped the Smart Tire Pump, which became an instant everyday carry for many people on motorcycle trips. Well, now they have refined and taken the pump to new levels with the Lexin Smart Tire Pump Gen 2, which now offers an internal cooling fan, is 20% smaller in design, and can double as a portable charger while you're away from civilization. Pair these great products with some of the best customer service in the industry, and head on over to lexin-moto.com and drop the Fast Life offer code to save yourself 15% off your order. And don't forget to give these guys a follow on Instagram at Lexin Moto. If you have seen any of my personal bikes in person or on the gram over the past 6 years, you will definitely notice my ongoing support for Lucky Dave's. Their seats have always fit my ass perfectly and had the style profile I prefer in the 2-up seat game. I have ran the San Diego bars on my FXR and Dynas for years. Now I currently run the Peacemaker bar and riser series on my 2020 Road Glide. These bars are dope with many options to customize the appearance as well as get you dialed at the right height and hand position. I would go as far to say that the Lucky Dave's riser bar is one of the most comfortable bars on the market, no matter what risers you put them in. Check out all the options for your ride at luckydaves.com and give these guys a follow to stay up on product releases and inventory restocks on the gram at Lucky Daves. Now here we go with Chopskee and the homie Zack, Lotlizard. Let's go.
Hey guys, you ready to let the dogs out?
Fast Life Podcast.
All right, fuck it. Here we go.
So Chopskee,
how'd you get into photography, Chopskee?
Yeah, I know, right?
Let's start this at the
Backtrack.
beginning.
I don't know.
What was the
This
first
is crazy, man. Fuck, I can't believe the that's weird, man. I don't know what's up with the YouTube. Like, it's obviously not YouTube, it's this board. Because if it's recording audio like that and when we put it into this computer and it does it still, then you know it's fucked up. So
Yeah.
that's a weird one. But anyway, Chop, once again, thanks for being here.
Yeah, I know, right? second fucking time, you know?
No, but I mean, we can just kind of wrap it up, but like, you know, kind of wrap up what we had talked about first, real quick. And, you know, we kind of talked about your introduction to photography. You know, you kind of got it through skateboarding. And was there any photographers maybe in general that like stood out to you, whether they were big or small? You know what I mean?
Like at that point, you know, we had like my shop that I rode for, like a little skate shop in Buffalo.
You gotta keep the mic, though.
Kyle, he did all our videos and stuff like that. And like, you know, at that point, it's weird to me because at that point, like, I had nothing to offer to like, you know, the camera side of shit.
Yeah.
And now I know so much about it. I wish I could like go back and like be a part of that. But I don't know. After that, it was just like, you know, skate photographers like Atiba and shit like that.
Oh yeah,
Tiva Jefferson.
Jefferson.
He's super well known in that industry. But
you know what's weird? Like when I look at some of the photographers of the past, because I always look at them to find out what it is that like, what's their thing that made them, that put them on that level. You know what I mean? That put them up there in the limelight. Is it as simple as like they were just at the right time, right place? They knew the right people. They had a camera, and they just kind of completely pushed them into that place, or did they have something special? You know what I mean?
Honestly, sometimes, in life, like I feel like it is about who you know, but also you have to be able to back that shit up too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because once you get that deal, you got to perform. They're going to expect that every time. So even if you do get like, a good opportunity, like random opportunity, and like I've had that shit happen to me, but like, with photography, everything's very out of your hands if you're in the elements and, chasing light, shit like that. Sun's going down. It's a group thing. Fucking, you're trying to get everybody together collectively, and it can just be a fucking anxiety. Trying to get that to all work out perfectly. I know exactly what you mean. When we do our big trips together with all the guys, they really do help me try to do the photography that I want to do. But, like they just don't understand how quickly it goes from like perfect light to no light. Yeah. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. And, when they're having a conversation or doing this, I'm like, okay, we got to run and go to this next spot real quick because we only got 10 more minutes. And you got that one guy that has his ritual when he gets on his bike.
That's me, dude.
And he takes
that's kind of me too back in Buffalo. I can't lie.
Dude, those fuckers wear gloves. So like, I'm like, dude, I'm trying to put my gloves on. They're like, they're ready to go.
I'm always at the gas station. Just like, I am like the last one fucking trying to put that together. Then I get stressed out because I'm like trying to hurry up.
Yeah.
Trying not to be that guy. But
that was us when we rode to Sturgis with them. Every time I'm like, damn, like these motherfuckers. It's like they all have a plan and they all know. They're like they do like a secret whistle or something, and they know like that means like 5 minutes. And I was like, bro, can I get like a 5-minute warning or something?
Then in my mind, I'm like,
so I can start getting ready.
Then in my mind, I'm like, fuck this shit. Like,
because they fire up and they're ready, they're gone. I'm like, wait, my helmet's not even buckled yet.
Well, like when you're doing like trying to. And I'm noticing this more because I'm in this transition where I'm really trying to turn photography into something a lot more, more like of a business, but I don't want to force it. Right. And so I want to start capitalizing more off all the trips that I do and capitalize on those sunrises, sunsets, these locations. You know what I mean? I've been actually training to wake up early because I'm not a morning guy. But I've been busting my ass trying to get used to waking up at like 5:30 in the morning, getting into some kind of routine, and being just awake and ready when the sun's coming up to if I am going to shoot. Because that adds like, if you say like between 5 and 8 p.m. you got 3 hours of good light to shoot. Between 6:30, 7 a.m. till 9 a.m. you got decent hours to shoot. You know what I mean? So it's.
The last time I caught a sunrise was the only reason why was because I was up all night. So that's the only reason why I caught it, because I was driving.
Yeah.
I shot that trailer, the Stinger trailer.
Yeah.
And I was on my way to Indiana. I was like, fuck, sun's coming up. Like, I haven't shot sunrise like in fucking years. So I was like, I'll pull over on the side of the fucking thruway and shoot this real quick. Took like 5 minutes, and I was on my way. But I don't know, it is a thing, and it is worth it. It's just getting to that point to be able to catch it. It is sick. But for me, I usually end up catching like sunsets rather than sunrises.
Same.
Just because of my fucking sleep schedule is all over, and I'm not a morning person. Like, I can't do that shit.
Another photographer that used to shoot a lot of the bikes that we would do, he's more of a landscape photographer now. He lives up in like Spearfish. His name's Jesse Brown Nelson. And dude does some fucking badass like landscape stuff, like of the Black Hills and things like that. And last time we talked, he was like showing me like, so I stepped in my car right here, and at 3 a.m. I hiked up a mile to get to this spot to shoot this sunrise with this little, like, it's almost like he went and hiked it the day before to find the composition, and then came back in the morning and waited for the sun to come up to create the light.
A lot of times, like, you gotta know what you're walking into, but that's what you know, for me, like being like people like us, like travel a lot. We're in cities we don't know and shit. Like it's on the fly. You can't predict what you're going to see, you know, because you don't fucking know. You don't know, you know, what the lighting is going to be in that area, or, you know, just what the hell is there for composition for buildings and shit like that. You know what I mean? And I don't know. That's why it's hard to be like you know, I'll talk to models or, you know, just people who want their bike shot or something, and they'll be like, oh, like, do you have any locations? I'm like, dude, I'm not from here. Like, I don't know. I'll go on Google and try to find some shit.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
That's the best you can do, you know, or just ask around.
How much do you think that, like, do you want your background to be a part of your image? Is that, you know what I mean?
As far as, like...
I've always, maybe with this statement, you'll kind of understand what I'm getting at. Mm-hmm. I feel like people that take pictures in graffiti alleys is the lowest hanging fruit of photography.
I mean, it's very...
cliche.
Yeah, that's honestly, like, nothing against, you know, that, but I always try to stay away from, like, murals and stuff, just because it's so, like, it's overdone a lot. But also it's just, like, I don't know, some murals are sick and it works out, but, like, you know, there's some wings on a wall and everyone's going to go up there with their cell phone and it blasts it all over. So it's just, like, blown out, you know? And I'd rather find some cool lighting, you know. I used to shoot a lot at night where I can frame somebody in some sort of background lighting and use that to frame that person. And then it's just like, you know, nobody's ever got that shot, or it's not
so that makes
out.
sense. Like, because, you know, in Dallas we have the Fabrication Yard, which is basically this blown out graffiti alley where any time of the day and night there's someone shooting a rap video down there. Someone's senior photos are taking place down there. There's just like an onslaught of, like, different things going on. And don't get me wrong, like, it's a cool vibe, but, like, it's in everybody's photo. Like, so it like,
it's wore out.
Yeah, it's wallered out.
It's fucking played the fuck out.
Yeah,
but the problem is that when people go look at, like, Dallas portraits, they look and everybody has portraits, and, like, it's like the Pinterest fucking curse. Like, people don't know what they want for a tattoo, so they go get on Pinterest and they get a Pinterest tattoo. Like, everybody, that's just what they do. And so I think it's the same thing with photography. Like, they just look up portraits and they see everybody with graffiti background. They're like, oh, that's cool. Let's just do a graffiti background.
Love Park in Philly.
Yeah.
It's, you know, you go there, there's a line.
To take a picture with the love sign, the love park sign. I remember that because it was on Tony Hawk.
Old skate videos, man.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was super illegal to skate there back in the day, and now it's like they completely changed it up, and there was, like, the fountain gap and all that shit. It was a big fucking deal. And then now it's just, like, completely, like, changed. And they actually it was such a big thing in, like, the skate community that they took the ledges and everything and brought it over to the new skate park over. Like, it's in the city. I forgot what the fuck the name of it is, but they just to give, like, you know, credit to, like, Love Park, you know, like, it kind of still lives a little bit, you know, through that. But that's always cool to see that type of stuff. But
no, that's dope.
Yeah.
So when you were skating back in the day, like, how was your, like, were you just skating Buffalo? Or were you getting out and doing a lot of the other cities around you? Did you ever do competitions or?
Mostly, dude. Like, I would just skate. Like, we'd go around, like, surrounding states, stuff like that. I always wanted to, like, go out to Cali and everything like that, but, like, never made it out there, like, for skating purposes. But I don't know. It was always, like, you know, as a skater, it's just like, oh, California is, like, you know, everything's smooth out there and shit like that, like, spoiled with, like, parks and shit. And I grew up in, like, a little ass town, like, Medina, and it was just, like, shit. It was just nothing but, like, you know, shitty, crusty, like, street spots, like, East Coast, like, crust, like, Pittsburgh, same thing. It's super crusty, like, city. Everything's rough. In Cali, like, out west, everything's, like,
smooth.
You know, it's like skating a skate park, you know, but it's in the street and shit. But I don't know. There's always gems here and there, but I don't know. The whole, like, skating thing is mostly East Coast for me.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, I remember you had took some shots out at the Venice Beach skate spot.
Every time I go out to Cali, I go to Venice Beach. I spend one day there every single time. I go spend at least one full day just shooting the skaters there. So I know a bunch of them pretty cool now.
Nice.
Yeah, Venice is sick.
Yeah, they're always the same kid. There's a cat there, Isaiah. He's the dopest out of all of them. He's airing out, fucking off, doing wall plants off the palm trees, bro. Like he's
a lot of those kids live at that park.
He does every day. He's always there. He does the street performance too, where they do the flips and all that crazy shit. So he's like just a hell of an athlete. But he's like, I think he's sponsored by Etnies, but he's like somebody that's a steward of the sport. You know what I mean? Like he's awesome. Like he's got kids out there that he skated with when they were 3 or 4 out there, and now they're 12 and they're out there, and their parents post pictures of like him with them when they were 4 and now they're 12. You know, like that shit's cool. Like he's a really, really good steward of the sport out there for that, and I like that. Yeah,
Venice is sick. I remember I was out there I've only been there twice. The last time I was out there, like I was just skating around. I was just like, fuck, dude. I wanted to skate this shit. Like if only I like had it in my prime. You know what I mean? But now it's like I was out there for photography and shit.
Yeah.
So it
took you to the places you wanted to go.
Yeah.
Well, how old were you when you were like skating? Was it something you did all through high school, like early age and stuff?
I started skating when I was like probably 13.
For real?
12, something like that.
Was there ever a point where you felt like maybe you could like just roughneck it, you know, go to Cali, try to fucking get in a house with some people? And
that's what a lot of my homies did, dude. They would go out to Cali. They would all just like sleep. It would just be like 6 people to a house. You know what I mean? And it would just...
skate houses. They used to be like a lot of brands would have that.
Yeah, it was definitely a thing. And like I had homies that like did that. And then at that time I was like just getting my first car and like getting bills and shit. And I was just like, fuck, I got like stuck in that little fucking like realm of just like, do I just go out and fucking just live on the beach pretty much? Or do I, you know what I mean? But like everything happens for a reason, honestly. And I think, you know, given where skating is now, like to be like fucking be able to live off of that shit, like
you have to be a monster.
The shit's evolved so much, dude. Yeah. Like I would be having to kill my fucking self. Like I already did. Like,
it's the same in everything. If you look at like the freestyle motocross, like dude, you got to be able to double backflip a dirt bike and front flip it. If you want a BMX bike, you know they're doing like 5 backflips off a 60
dude. The tricks they're doing in like, skateboarding now are getting retarded.
Yeah, dude, this shit's it's wild, and it's like how far can the bar be pushed? You know what I mean?
Hey, I'm still trying to like land a 360 flip. These dudes are doing the craziest shit I've ever seen, man. So,
and then a 14-year-old girl stomping it.
Yeah, I know.
From Japan, and she's like, what the
okay.
I feel like fucking, you know, everyone, like, our generation, like, had kids, and then they made these little prodigy skaters. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or, like, BMX.
We're the male version of the pageant kids.
Right? Just pageant moms, but, like, skate dads,
Yeah, skate dads. That's a thing, dude.
That's it. No matter what, like to be the best of anything, like now
you got to Tiger Woods it, dude.
You have to dedicate your whole life to it if you want to be the best. Like you literally have to dedicate your whole life to it, and that's almost like you can't also play golf and be wanting to do freestyle motocross. Like if you want to be the best, like you have to eat, sleep, shit, and dream.
Let me ask on that same point. Let me ask you this: how many frames do you think you've taken, like in all your cameras?
Oh fuck!
Like.
What, just like shots?
Just shots. Not that they're good ones. Just how many times do you think that how many photos do you think you've created through your cameras over the years?
Oh, fuck, dude. It's infinite. I feel like, I don't even know. Like, cause I used to shoot like a lot, like when I would go out, and now I try not to overshoot. Mm-hmm. Like that's, you know, on the business side of things, I don't have the time to fucking sit there and go through, you know, thousands of images and shit. You know, I try to be on the conservative side now. But yeah, dude, it's a fucking ton.
Yeah, because I was thinking to myself, because, you know, I just upgraded to the R5 Canon. And so I was looking up because Canon's weird. You can't just look in the camera to see how many shutter actions you've had. Mm-hmm. So you have to download this app, and this app, you know, lets you know basically. And so my other camera, the EOS R, like that had 20,000 was on that one. And I had that from June when you were working here in 2020 till just now. So 2 years. And then the one before that, I think I had about 10,000 shots on that one. Mm-hmm. And then I probably on this new one, maybe 3,000. So like maybe I feel like I'm still under 30,000 pictures I've taken.
That's unreal. That's badass.
So
that is wild.
I'm taking 1,500 to 3,000 of them per fucking football game at 30 frames per second. Just
yeah, that's what the action
stuff,
stuff,
like,
dude.
If you're doing sports, like when they're running that football, like you've only got so much open space, and when it's open,
and usually when somebody does like a wheelie past me or something, I have my little like sweep movement where I just kind of like go with it, and then I probably pop off like 4 shots, 5 shots in that.
Mm-hmm. Are you on burst mode, or are you doing it individual?
I'm on burst. Well, it's more burst. So like it's like there's different levels. I'm on medium, kind of in the middle. Yeah. So it's like I could put it on high where it's like
10 or 12.
But like 12. I just like I don't know. I try to do that, and then once I started like shooting for a lot of different brands and stuff, I started like it's like events like Sturgis and shit where I'm like, fuck, I gotta dump this card just to get rid of it and then reuse it, and like now I try to just like get multiple use.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
How big are the cards you're running?
Like 128.
God damn, you fill that up? I've never in my life filled up a card.
Yeah, I mean it depends on the card. Like I just got like those like Sony tough cards and shit, and I don't know how fucking tough they are, but I like, was a sucker for this shit just because I like want like the best stuff. Like it's my craft, but like I don't know, either like the 64s or the 128s.
Yeah.
I'd say.
So I'm gonna shit on the Sony fucking cards. And the reason why I'm going to is because the same. Like I want the best. Like because I want to take the best images possible. So I bought the 160 gig. There's $500 fucking for the CFE Express type.
Yeah.
Which they're badass because they 30 frames per second. You can hold it down forever, and it's gonna just keep on fucking.
Yeah,
trucking.
for real.
And I can upload probably 500 photos in 10 minutes Bluetooth from it. So it's super fast. But I have one of them right now. I only had 3 of those, and I have 3 256 scan disc or whatever the bullshit. All the bullshit cards still work fine. One of my 3 $500 Sony cards it just says like
fucking shit the bed. Go
figure
it
like
out.
It's like this camera does not recognize this card or something. That's what it says.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's wild. It's a Sony camera, Sony card.
Yeah, bro.
That's tough.
Because I've seen everybody saying only buy the Sony cards in the Sony groups. They're like, because you don't want to fucking lose your shit. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just do that from now on.
Yeah, I go back and forth between. I try to only use my Sony card just because I fucking put the most money into that, so I try to use it the most.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'll use SanDisk or whatever. Just like random shit.
To get to 30 frames per second, you have to have the CFE Express cards for Sony.
The only times I really like fill them up, it's from like multiple shoots.
Yeah.
In like one, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
also,
I could do that too. I do that sometimes.
Yeah, but like I really try not to even do that because I like to be organized in my shit. And if it's shot in the same day, it'll put it all in one group when you import it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you have to go like try to separate it. Like my process, I try to have everything, each shoot like just organized in each folder. And just like, so for me, the best part to do that is just shoot, dump it, and put on my external or whatever, and then, shoot again. Or just use a different card.
Yeah.
So it keeps it separate. But
yeah, that's man. Yeah, what I was talking about with like the amount of photos and stuff, it was kind of like the thought process was going through my head of like the 10,000 hours situation. Like how many photos or frames do you take before you finally probably get to that point of professional? You know what I mean?
There's no number to it because if you're, it's perfect practice makes perfect. You can practice all day long, but if you're not,
you're not trying in your practice.
You're not trying to get better. Like you're just going out and taking pictures. You got to be studying about the composition. You got to be studying about editing. You got to be studying about the lighting. Because it don't matter how good your photos are. If you can't fucking edit them, then What's it fucking like?
It doesn't stand
and
out.
That's Chop, that's kind of one of the things about the editing, like the vibes you bring in is kind of unique to you, especially in the motorcycle space.
I can literally look through my fucking Instagram and I don't even
doesn't
have
matter
to
who
look.
posted it.
You're like, yeah, somebody else can post it. I'm like, Chopskee, and I go look at it. I'm like, damn it, Chopskee, of course. Like, you just know, you have your own style, and like the tones, the color tones, like you can tell. Like, and that's when you get to be a professional. When other people say, damn, dude, I could just like go through my Instagram feed and I automatically know it's your picture before. That's when you have your style. That's what, like, I could see a lot of pictures that you post with bikes. Like, when I see the bike, like I'm like, oh, Jace fucking took that picture.
Yeah.
Like, and I see it, and it's like a fast life visuals. I'm like, that fucker. Like that. I think that's when I think you're ready to be a professional.
Well, the saying though, like it's I guess I've always dealt with this as being a custom painter or a fine artist, and some of the stuff I used to do. It's like the whole idea of calling yourself an artist, and sometimes I feel like the idea of calling yourself a photographer, and this is just my own like overthinking, right? Is that I feel like that's a title given to you, not embraced by you. If that makes sense. I don't
think so. I like
being a professional, like
no, just saying like
a photographer in general.
Yeah, it's like I've never walked up to someone and said, "Hey, hi, I'm Jace. I'm an artist."
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like it's just such a pretentious kind of feeling to put that out there. Yeah. Or even and like I said, this is just me, and this isn't something I'm asking any of y'all to agree on. I feel weird saying like, "Hey, how you doing? My name's Jace. I am a airbrush artist, a podcaster, a
he, him, thee, them." You let all your pronouns out first. Like, I'm a painter, podcaster.
Because if it's kind of like one of those weird things, like if you don't in certain situations, certain meetings, if you're not putting it all on the table, then what ends up happening is like in the conversation with said brand, said owner of some company, you're like, you don't want to be like, oh yeah, I'm also a photographer, like 10 minutes in the conversation. Like you kind of want them to be like, yo, I'm a photographer. I'm this. And hopefully, by putting it by having the confidence to say that on the jump street, kind of levels the playing field of letting them know like, hey, look, I do this for a living. Because I've been in that situation where I'd be sitting down with a brand and they'd be talking about this, that, and the other. And I'd be like, oh yeah, well, I shoot photos. And when I say it like that, I sound like every other person trying to get a fucking marketing job for Harley. That's like,
are you trying to tell me that you got the new iPhone? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly what it sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. That whole thing is weird, man. I don't know. I try not to I feel the same way. Even when I first started like shooting, I was shooting for a little bit, and I didn't know at what point to even label myself like a legit photographer, because there was a time, it's going on right now, like where anybody who picks up a camera, labels themselves as, they're so quick to label themselves and shit. And I just didn't want to be one of those dudes. And then I was just like, I remember I was shooting Fuel Cleveland, I think this was like years ago, and I wasn't, like there for them. I was just there to fucking shoot for myself. And I was with my buddy Jackson, and he was just like, yeah, dude, like he was giving me tips and all that stuff. And then I was like, yeah, dude, I just like, I don't want to put out there that I'm a label myself yet, because I didn't feel like I earned it yet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now it's like, and then I hit a point where I was just like, all right, I guess I am. I guess you know what I mean? I put in the time and shit.
I guess
like
I
that.
take pictures.
Because it's just like, that people started hiring me for this shit. So it was just like, all right, like they're like, oh, I show up. They're like, you're the photographer. I'm like, yeah, that's me. So
yeah,
that's me. I feel that way right now. I started like I was just doing it for fun, for friends.
Yeah,
whatever. But then I'm like I was telling him earlier, like, once you invest a certain amount of money in it, it's like, okay, like, do I spend $100,000 on a fucking hobby and not make a fucking dollar doing it? Like, am I doing it just for what? To make other people's Instagrams look good or to make them happy?
Yeah.
Like, that's cool. It makes me happy that they're happy, but like, it don't make me happy when I got to go buy a new fucking lens.
For me,
like,
dude.
I mean, I'm happy with.
I literally just did that because of hanging out with you last week. So.
He come and shot street photography one night. He went and bought a prime the next day.
Well, when you go like shoot with like your homies and shit like that, like, or just in general, you see other people and even online, you see them working what they're working with. You want to like, it's like we all become like tech nerds all of a sudden, and we're like 100%. Talking about like lenses and shit, and like, you know, we're talking about fucking SD cards, you know. If like this shit just happens, like it's just like, you know, it's not like sometimes exciting. I never thought I'd get stoked on, you know, having like a fucking laptop. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're cool to watch Netflix on for the average person, but like, you know, to fucking use it as a tool and shit like that, like, and I don't know, it's just, we nerd out now. That's something we have to talk about.
So Zach's been a part of this like this photo like community on like Instagram, or not Instagram, it's a Facebook, and they have a Telegram chat, right? Mm-hmm. And he added me to a long time ago, and I'm not the best in chat rooms and stuff, so I ended up getting back in, and reluctantly, everybody kind of came out last Tuesday to come shoot. I just wanted to walk around our Deep Ellum, our little party district, and just shoot stuff. I found out a lot about myself in this 2 or 3 hour period. Things that I had thought I wanted to do, and then when I actually tried, I'm like, I'm not really into that as I thought I was. Mm-hmm. But I did like the aspect of being around other photographers to talk about camera stuff, talk about shooting, talk about anything involved, because, you know, I don't know about you guys, but, you know, my wife can only take so much of it before she's like,
so much f-stop before she's like,
I don't give a shit, you know. And then all my friends are the same way, you know, all my close friends that I ride with, a lot of them are interested, and they are honestly some of the best people ever as far as supporting me and all this shit. But tonight we rode with those spots, and we stopped, and I'm like, God damn it, like, this is what I wanted. I wanted like homies that are in cameras, and then we're just all shooting like together. You know what I'm saying? And like, I wish there was more time to do more shit like that. You know?
No, it definitely, like, I used to go just shoot by myself.
Yeah.
Fucking, I'd go out, like, that's when I started shooting bikes. Like, I got my first bike, and then I was just like, fuck it, like, I'm gonna shoot this, like, because it's something to do. You know, I'd go out like 12 at night, just like ride around and find like a cool building and like cool like lighting, and I'd just go shoot the shit, and I'd get so stoked just to get home and fucking edit. And like, sometimes like I don't always feel that. I don't always get like, it depends on what I'm shooting, but that's what the difference is when you're shooting for yourself and you're shooting for somebody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's why it's important to, no matter how far you get with working with clients, like, you got to shoot for yourself still, just to keep that fucking spark,
that fire. Yeah.
And, you know, the interest, and then it becomes just a job. You know what I mean? I realized quick, I was like, just because I have a camera in my hand doesn't mean I'm enjoying myself all the time.
Yeah.
Because I could go do something for, you know, money and not even be interested. Like, but I'll still give it my best because it's my work. My name's on it at the end of the day. But it's just like, I'm not going to go shoot like a bunch of weddings and stuff like that. Like, I'll do weddings here and there, but I have a cap. You know, like, I try to do 1 or 2 a year, but like, nothing against wedding photographers. It's just not, it doesn't interest me.
Yeah.
You know?
Same.
It's a lot of money. People get caught up in the money.
People are like, dude, if you ever shoot one wedding, you'll never do anything else. I was like, well, then I ain't shooting no fucking weddings, because I don't fucking want to shoot that.
Yeah.
I actually want to. I want to try it. I want the experience. Like,
it is.
It's one of those things, right? Like, where you've done it, it sucks, but.
No, I haven't done it.
No, I'm just saying, like, that's what someone will tell you, like, oh, dude, you don't want to do this. I'm like, man, I kind of need to do it for myself, you know?
Yeah, you got to, like, you got to taste a little bit of everything. You know, I shot a lot of night stuff at first. I was, like, super long exposure, like, everything. And then, I don't know, I shot my first wedding, then I did a couple more, and I just realized, I was like, man, am I doing this because I want to, or because I want like a check? You know? And that was it was more on the check side. So I was just like, fuck, I want to do something where I make money and I'm stoked.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where the bike shit came into play, and shooting like musicians and like models or whatever, you know what I mean? Just like exciting stuff that I would genuinely be interested in.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, we were actually talking about that earlier, about the model thing. It's like, you know, I've definitely, like, I want to try everything photography wise. I want to try like portraiture. I want to try like dealing with models. I want to try a little bit of landscape. Like, I literally want to try it all and find out what I truly enjoy the most. And I feel like everything can cross paths. I'm looking at like a custom paint job.
No, you're right. You're right completely. I try to tell people, like with me, I took a boudoir course just because I was going to shoot some boudoir and I didn't know anything fucking about it. So I just paid the cash, took the course. So at least it came with like 30 something poses, like an hour video. And I was like, okay, at least I know that I can go through these 30 poses. It had like a PDF file so I could look at them on my phone. And I go, okay, it's time for this pose first. Because I don't know how to pose people, you know? And even still, like the guy's a natural light photographer. But on his editing, I learned some tricks from a boudoir photographer that I literally used this morning editing high school football pictures. Like
for real?
The same editing tricks. And essentially he's just putting he does all natural light, but he'll put like a radial filter, you know, just on the face. Yeah. And just do less than 0.3. You know, he keeps under a third of a stop. And it just makes it the brightest part of the picture to where that's where your focus goes to. And just even like on the football helmets, you know, they're from overhead lighting, and so there's shadows under the helmet, and like just that little bit makes it so much better. And if I would have never watched a boudoir fucking video, I would have. I mean, you know, like, but you're right. It all helps.
I think like the absorbing all the different elements of photography, and let me say in the paint thing, because I'm more experienced in that. When I learned how to paint in like tribal and skulls and shit like what's behind you over there, which I did in 2007.
Hell yeah, brother shit right there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's something I did in 2007. And honestly, in 2007, that shit will get you anything you want in life. That stuff, I was doing that on everybody's bike and everybody wanted it. And that was winning bike shows, right? I don't do any of that anymore. But then I get into lowriders, I get into this, get into that. And then eventually after 15 years of painting, all of a sudden I have my style, right? Yeah. My style that's still, you can still pick out other painters that I've like leaned into that I like and when I've kind of enjoyed their look. So I kind of use some of their style. I mean, I don't call it stealing. I call it like being influenced by people, because we're all like a cesspool of the influences that make up our creative process. Right. Facts. And so I'm never going to go like to Poland and just like copy off a complete paint job he does on a helmet, colors and everything, and put it on my shit, you know. But if he'll throw a line across and it might inspire me, I'm like, that one line going across the helmet, same. Yeah. And I see one line in a photography, in a photo, and I'm like, I see that, but with this, and this. And then all of a sudden now that's my art that I've been inspired by something that I've seen, and I've transformed it into something else.
Yeah, you're always going to see shit on the gram or whatever and just get like inspiration from, and you know, I think it's good to get that, you know. That's the whole reason, like one of the reasons why I have social media, is just so I can keep seeing new shit come up and what's going on in areas where I'm not at. And then it's good to take that, but you got to put your own twist on it. I feel. You know, you can't just like replicate like what you were saying. Like you took something from that, and you know what I mean, and you made it your own. You know, like I do that like here and there, where I get something, but like I will try to edit it differently or something, just to make it slightly less of like a rip off kind of, you know.
Where do you think like your editing style originated from? Like your influences that kind of helped you go down that path?
Dude, I don't really know. I kind of went like on like the darker side of things. Like, you know, I liked like darker like images and just like,
well, what kind of
sort of like edgy, I guess, kind of shit. And then I don't know, like that's the type of shit that I like to shoot, is like, you know, more like, well, it depends on the shoot, but you know, if I'm shooting something dark and, you know, like horror theme, like that would be sick. Like I feel like I could like fuck something up like that. But like it's more like, I don't know, I have to shoot, like when you get paid to do it, you have to do shoot stuff for other clients too. So like I try to be diverse, but I don't know, it all just kind of happened over time.
Well, like the whole moody kind of concept, do you think that kind of originated from shooting a lot of nighttime street photography type stuff?
Yeah,
they kind of bled over to where you had to kind of create it, you know.
Yeah, and then I got like into like a really big like cyberpunk phase for a little bit, where I was like shooting like fucking bikes and cars, or like just like long exposure night stuff, like drag, like just like dragging the shutter and shit like that, you know. And I don't know, it would just be cool to make like neon type stuff. And like if you really go back like far into my shit, like you'll see more of like fucking like really colder like images, and then like even like hints of like, you know, just like I got really like experimental with the temperatures pretty much.
Yeah.
And
that's definitely evident in your work.
Yeah, I got really like experimental with that. And then, you know, but with that in Lightroom, you fuck up skin. All of a sudden the person's fucking skin, you know, because you made the image cold, they're all like fucked up looking like shit like that.
They look
like White Walkers.
Yeah, I know, dude. It can get real weird real quick. That's why I was just like, shit, dude, I gotta learn Photoshop and learn how to like control each separate
area.
thing.
Yeah.
That's what one thing, like, you know, you get when you work with like Photoshop is you can isolate each thing.
Yeah, and that's one thing. Like I know how to do a couple things in Photoshop, but I don't know a lot of the editing processes in Photoshop as far as like dodge and burn and that type of stuff. Yeah. And I need to learn it because it's such a. I mean, all the best portrait photographers use it, right?
Yeah, frequency separation.
Yeah.
Frequency separation.
That's my thing that like is I've been needing to learn it, and it's a matter of just getting on there and fucking doing it. But like you said, like we get our little hurdles that we're like, I can't do that. So you just don't even fucking try it.
Yeah. And I've sat down so many times. I bought this whole fucking Wacom tablet to do that. Just so I had a pen so that I could like dodge and burn easily and shit. And I was like,
dude, I tried the pen shit. I couldn't do it, dude. Like I have shaky hands, first of all. So it's like, I wanted to be like, oh.
And you
like,
handle nuclear stuff.
Yeah, I know, right? I just wanted to have a pen, like be able to be on my iPad and just fucking crank out something with
Let me
pen.
ask you that. Where do you enjoy editing photos the most?
If I had fucking like if I had a choice, it would be at my desktop with the monitor.
Okay.
But like I can't use my iPad like I have. But like when it comes to like editing like skin and stuff, like Lightroom and Photoshop on there, it's been a while since I tried because I kind of gave up on it for a little bit because I was like I didn't have the time. I was like, fuck this. I can't learn this right now. I got to go edit this. So I'd take it to my laptop and do it like how I normally would. But I wanted to be able to just take my iPad on the road and be able to do that. But it's different fucking like steps, shortcuts and shit to do something. So I'm like, fuck, I don't know how to even do something as simple as this. And though it's like relearning your steps, you know, whereas if I'm on my laptop, I'm like set up and I fucking know where my buttons are and I'm like ready to fucking, you know what I mean? I'm in my zone and I'm just more efficient that way.
That's me. For me, I want to be on the couch, stoned with a cup of coffee. That's what I do all my editing. So like for me is like the night, like I go shoot the football game. Like last Friday night, I shot the Alito varsity game. I go home and I soak my old sore ass in an Epsom salt bath. And in the bath, I'll cull through all my photos. And so I was loading all my photos up to Lightroom. But it fucking, dude, at 50 megabytes or whatever pixels a photo, it eats it up fast. So I learned after filling up a whole iPad and like I don't know what to do with it because I don't want to delete them. So now I could just go, like I lock the photos in the camera first, and then I delete all of the photos from that date. So it deletes everything that's not locked. Then I only upload the locked ones, and so that saves. And then instead of on Lightroom, when I edit the photo, instead of hitting save, which is what I used to do, so then it saves it on my iPad. Well, that fills up your fucking space too. So now what I learned is from a different sports photographer is I just hit the organize, hit the add to, and I just put it in a folder. That way it stores it on that 2 terabytes that I pay fucking Lightroom for.
Yeah.
And then it never goes onto my device. So all the photos I'm editing, I just add them to that folder, and then I just share that folder link with the parents, and then they can download the full resolution images from that link, and it never gets saved on my phone. So, or my
It's
iPad.
almost like Dropbox then, huh?
Essentially. And so then what I do is when I want to make my posts in the morning, I just go through and I click all 50 of them at the same time. If you do them one at a time, it takes forever. But if I click all 50 of them that I want, then I just save them to my phone. It takes a minute to start, but then it just goes real fast.
Yeah.
Then I have all 50. I post all 50 of them on Facebook, and then I go delete them off my phone or my iPad, and that's done.
Yeah.
And so that's how I've learned to battle this storage bullshit.
Well, I was dealing with the thing like when it comes to editing, and I'm sorry, guys. I know it's a motorcycle podcast.
Yeah, right.
But I was dealing with, because I have Apple everything because I've always loved the way Apple laptop. If I edit a photo on here, it looks when I export it, it still looks the same way it looked on here, right? iPad, same thing. iPhone, same thing. But for some reason, when I used to have a Alienware computer in here, and I was doing a lot of heavier stuff on this, and that's like a badass $1,500 monitor that was like supposed to be for art, colors, and all this shit. And I would edit something on there, and then I'd export it, and then I pull it up on here, and it's yellow.
Yeah, it's like, dude, I really love like the Apple colors because that's what I see on my phone.
Yeah.
So like, but it sucks because the Apple monitor is like 5Gs, 4500 or some shit like that. And I was just like, fuck, dude, I can't justify that. So I have like an LG one, but it's I got it like calibrated.
Yeah.
And I had to buy like a Spider or whatever.
Yep.
And calibrate it that way just to try to. So now it's like, I'll look at it on my phone and then compare it to the screen. Like I'll airdrop it to my phone and then kind of like compare it. It's pretty close at this point. But
that's a real thing, though.
It's a struggle.
It is a struggle.
Same thing with print. If you print it, fuck, dude, because the print's not, that glass isn't backlit. So, dude, I fucking wore the first company out that I tried to print through. I'm like, bro, this shit's dark as fuck. And they sent me another one. They sent me the preview, and on my phone, it looks great.
Yeah.
So then they send it to me, the metal print, and it looks...
Who are you going through?
At that time, I used that gloss metal prints.
Dude, this company that does mine is Full Color. They're here in Dallas.
Okay.
And, you put it in there by 12 o'clock. You can pick it up by 3 p.m. For over 50 years, the Nest family has provided us with top quality custom motorcycle parts. And today's product line is better than ever, offering you products to enhance your motorcycle's performance and the overall look of your bike. With 12 different categories of custom air cleaners, Arlen Ness has a filter that will fit your budget or your taste. I'm currently running the Method air cleaner on my 20 Road Glide, along with their one-of-a-kind Method No Flex front fork legs and bagger fork guards, which allow me to show off my Arlen Ness gold fork tubes. It's really sick. From custom handlebars and rims to bodywork and foot controls, head on over to arlenness.com to start getting the parts you need to enhance your motorcycle experience. And as an added bonus to Ness's well-stocked product line, you can use offer code in all caps, FASTLIFE10, to save yourself 10% on your purchases. And it's always free shipping on orders over $100. And lastly, give these guys a follow on the gram at Arlen Ness Motorcycles.
That's sick.
That's way more than what I got going on right now.
So all my metal prints, they did them.
That's nice. No, on that gloss metal, Instagram got me on that.
Yeah.
And it was like they did a special, I think it was 18 by 24 for $100. And I was like, I'm going to try that. Fuck it. So I had the picture that Grubbs took for me down in Houston when we did the HTX of me doing that burnout shot he got. And I printed it, and it's the dopest thing that's ever been printed in my world. So I was like, damn, the metal prints is where it's at. So then I tried to print some more that I had taken, and
that's why they always say to like print it like small at first and just to like kind of sample it. But like I always end up fucking, I don't know, gambling with that shit. Like, I don't know. If somebody isn't happy with it, I'll reprint it or something. Like obviously I want like this shit to look good. But I noticed that it always comes up darker. Mm-hmm. So I always try to like, boost it a little bit. Yeah, just like I just like make it a little, just like slightly brighter than I would for my phone. Yeah. Just for like a just in case, you know what I mean? Right. But it's not like blown out or anything like that.
When the Torque magazine thing was going on originally, and I was sending in a lot of the photos that we would take, they were talking about how like your photos are just too dark, and I'm like, which I agree, they did have a darker vibe to them, but like compared to normal bike shoots, the bike shoots that I would normally see in these magazines were like on a beach, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, just all the chrome was like white. You know what I mean? Like there was no real reflection of anything. And And I mean, it got the point across. I mean, everything was in focus. Everything was in like the picture. There was no emotion. And that's where in photography, in my opinion, like lighting makes emotion. When I used to do skulls all the time, right? Airbrush skulls all the time. When I started, I bought a skull. He's actually behind that FXR book over there. I bought a fucking little model skull, and I started taking a picture with my phone and using lights. Like I'll turn like one light on, and it'll just have like across the face. I take a picture of my phone, and then I would airbrush that. Changed the game for me with airbrushing on skulls, because all of a sudden I'm using a real image with real lighting, and it became so much easier because half the face is black. Right. Like it's all dark. Like I don't even have to airbrush anything. Yeah. Just insinuate that there's something else over there, and it captured and looked more realistic and it conveyed what I was trying to do. For sure.
Your brain will do the rest.
Yeah.
It's just like tattooing.
Exactly
they'll
like that.
They'll break it up. They'll do some of the beasts. They do a black, a dark gray, and a light gray, and that's it. And the skin tone, like 4 shades, and that's it. They take the image they're using and they break it down to where there's only 4 shades. Yeah. On the reference photo, and they literally tattoo it just like that. And the big spots where you have a spot this big where the skin's showing, and you're like, fuck, like that don't look like when you're doing it, you're just like, that looks horrible. Yeah. But you're like, when you look at it, your brain does the math and
you're good.
Yeah, you just gotta trust the process.
So when like Chop, whenever you got you did you pick up the camera before the bike?
It was like actually right at the same time.
Right at the same time.
Pretty much, yeah.
And what was this? What year was that?
Fuck. I don't really know the year, but I know it's going on like 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah, I'd say 6 years.
Yeah.
How long did it take you before you took some images? Now, everybody always takes the images that you thought it was cool, but then
you look at them a year later.
6 months
when
later,
you progress, you see what you would have did different.
Fuck, what did I edit it? Like in the beginning, everybody over edits everything,
Yeah,
dude, I did.
Over edits the shit out of it.
I looked like I took every slider on Instagram and went to the
100.
right.
Yeah,
100 clarity, 100.
Yeah, I would
texture 100.
I fucking hit that clarity real hard, dude.
Yeah. And then you learn the more advanced I think you get, the less editing you need to do.
A little bit, but also
because you get it more right in camera.
Yeah, and it's just. I don't know, dude. I try to fucking just not go over the top with something. I'll sit there and overthink now because I know how I used to be.
Yeah.
And how I just like try to be like subtle with things sometimes. Yeah. Even still, like my image will come out like, just a little bit like vibrant or something. Mm-hmm. But like it's I don't know. I'll overthink an image constantly, dude. And
I got a good question. How about So say, for instance, you have a shoot that you need to do and somebody, like you have a paying customer, because this is what Jace is scared of, is it, he's worried, like everybody is in the beginning, is I don't know for sure. And I was just talking to Ivan the other night, and he's like, I just am not at a point to where I know for sure that if somebody pays me to go out and shoot something, that I can guarantee them 30 great images. And my response is, nobody's giving them 30 great fucking images on one little shoot of any kind. Like, you have 30 good images, but there's like three to five great ones. Yeah. If you're lucky. Like, yeah. So I was telling him, like, I watched this sports photographer, Zamani, and he's like, I'll go shoot the whole game, 1,500 to 3,000 images, like, and I will keep 1 to 3 of them for my portfolio. He's like, less than 1%. So, like, what do you think? When you go out for a shoot, if let's say, for instance, you just go out and you shoot some guys riding for the day, riding's a little different because they're doing something that's already cool. So as long as you can just capture them doing something cool and put a good edit on it, it's kind of a good photo. But like if you're shooting like portraits with a model,
well, like I would say like maybe to chime in on that, like that shot that you took of Junkyard Kenny from behind with the helmet, I think they used it in the Torque magazine that time.
I love
that image. It's just like, it's kind of like a cockpit shot, cockpit shot of the road glide, but it has like the side profile of the helmet.
Yeah.
And obviously Chopskee colors. You need to do your own like fucking like presets, bro.
Dude, I thought about it. People have asked for the sauce, dude.
I know
they want the sauce, dude. You the sauce boss or what, bro?
$50 a preset. People are killing it.
Yeah, I know. I thought about doing that, like, because I've been hit up a lot, and then I was just like, "Fuck, dude, do I really want to like give up my sauce?"
But here's my opinion.
That's what sets me apart. You know what I mean? That's what I'm known for.
Yeah,
and then I see a bunch of Chopskee images come out, and I'm just like,
for $50.
You gotta learn new sauce. But in my opinion, though, like the preset, people think that you can take a picture, and if you give me your preset, I can put that preset on any picture and they're going to look like Chopskee's pictures. But they're fucking not. Like, even if you have all the
that's
colors.
the sales pitch, though. The sales pitch is it will look like
Yeah, I know.
And that's why all these
and
fucking dumbasses buy
picture, But the picture that they're showing you where you do the little slider and it's like shitty picture, badass, shitty picture, Chopskee. Like, it's good for that image. Like, and
specific.
other images that are similar to that. Yeah. But are you taking pictures that are similar to that? Because if not, then it's not going to make your camera better or your gear better. Or
it is specific. Better. Like, I thought about that too. Like, when I was thinking about it, I was just like, I kind of had to just like tone these down a little bit because I know what it's going to do to an image when I put it in there, and I know what I'm going to have to adjust. Like, it's just like a starting point. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like I try to feel out which direction I'm going to go with my edit and the tones. And then I fucking, I have like 3 presets right now that I bounce back and forth on.
He's got a cool one, a warm one that's fire. Those two are so fire.
I think you've always done this. I think you balance a cool and warm photo together very well. Like it's a juxtaposition almost.
We need that guy Huff or whatever his name is on there that he goes through there and he fucking pulls the colors out of the deal and he's like, okay, this is how he does it, kind of. Put him on Chopskee's page.
There is I don't know, dude. I think about that. I'm just like, man, like when I was thinking about releasing some presets, I was just like, I guess I could do it, and people might not figure out what to do with it, and that would still like separate me, I guess, but like I don't know.
To me, there's the homework, like you're saying, like you're like when you look at the image, you decide how am I going to take the image. If they don't know how to look at the image and look and decide how they're going to take the image, like the preset's not going to matter shit for them. Like to an extent, like same like I have a base edit that I do for the sports ones, but as the night gets darker from a 6 o'clock game and now it's 8 o'clock, like I have a base preset that I do to pretty much all of them, but then I can do all of them from 6 to 6:30. They can all be pretty close, but even from 6 to 6:30, like you couldn't use the preset at 6 o'clock for 6:30. Like you just can't. Like it's not the same. So it's not like for me. I think people want it to be easy. Like there's no easy. How do you pinstripe a motorcycle? Like there's no easy. Like you just
none of it's easy. It's not. I mean,
you put in the time and the hours and the homework. Like that's how you do it.
Yeah, I would. Like there's even like one preset that I have where I know like it looks like a cold image. It's a mind fuck, honestly. Like it would totally like the images that I get in it like after Photoshop, because in Lightroom it'll be like cold, and then I take it into Photoshop and then I'll fuck with it there. Like I have to get it to a certain like cold like temperature, and then when I know once it's there, I can take it into Photoshop and completely switch that hue over to warm and get the result. And like that was just from fucking around, and I know that like it just took like time, and now I know I can do that. You know what I mean? And it's really just like fucking with the blues, like I don't know, dude. It's just
the 10,000 hours. You spend the hours learning it and doing it wrong.
That's what I mean. Like I know what to do with my presets, but like I don't think like I can't explain that. When I release them, you know what I mean?
No, that makes sense. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like maybe not wanting to. I mean, when you came out, not gay, but when you came out, on the scene, like. I noticed, because honestly, like, I feel like when you came out of, like, or it's not came out, like when I noticed you, it was right around the time I was also pursuing my version of photography in 2020.
Yeah.
I guess that's when I feel like your shit started like really going across the country, like sweeping it, right? And then come to 21, like I felt like I saw so many people emulating your style, right? Like in the motorcycle space, like a lot of heavy. The problem is like it's heavy edit if you don't know what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
It's the balance of that heaviness that softens it out. Like you're like what you're saying, like the Photoshop softens out the heavy tones, the harsh contrast that you have in your images. You know what I'm saying?
It's just a part of my process now. And, you know, once I figure out I want to take it that route with that preset, you know, and I feel like it suits it well, I'll, you know, go through that, take it through. Like with my editing, depends on if it's, you know, skin or no skin.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if there's skin in it, I'm probably 60% Lightroom, 40% Photoshop. I always start in Lightroom, obviously, but I don't know.
And transfer it over.
I only do Lightroom. Photoshop is so user friendly.
It is.
Man, it's fuck. Even tattooing, like everybody uses Photoshop. I use Procreate. Like it's even. We did the fucking flaming ball softball photos, and like I took it into Procreate. My boy's like, "Dude, just do Photoshop." I was like, "I can't. Like, I fucking can't use it. Like, it's not user friendly." And I don't have, like you said, I don't have 100 hours that it took me to learn Procreate and Lightroom to learn fucking Photoshop, and then they're gonna switch over to something different. Like, I just can't keep it.
That's why sorry, what?
Photoshop's a legacy thing that's always going to be around, though. So I feel like I want to learn more. I would love to take if someone had a class to like. I don't want to do online classes. If someone,
come here and show me.
I'll pay you to come here and walk me through this, 100%.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
ABC
saying?
1, 2, 3 style.
Yeah, I don't want to. I've been trying to find someone that could really come in and teach me dodge and burn. Like
you can do it on Lightroom, dodge and burn.
Yeah,
with a brush.
YouTube.
With a brush.
I've been doing on YouTube.
Yeah, 90% of my photography career has been YouTube.
Me too.
That shit is. I'd say I learned a lot. Sometimes I just have it on while I'm editing just to get me the juices flowing. You know what I mean? Like I'll fucking.
That's me.
You remember when you worked up here? I just had shit playing on like that TV out there. All I'd do all day long, I'd be airbrushing or taping up a helmet, and I'm listening to a Peter McKinnon or a fucking somebody on here talking about photography. Or music.
I think that's like where I'm at with like you're talking about creative space and where I like to edit. Like I like to like set the stage kind of for like success. Like, you know, if I'm home and able to work at my desk, like I like to have my shit fucking organized, and then just like, I don't know, I just like to have the music fucking playing. Like I have like a little edit playlist I'll throw on depending on the photo. Like in the vibe I'm going for, like if I throw on a vibey fucking song that, you know what I mean? Sometimes that helps with the juices, but like also I'll throw on, you know, if I'm feeling like slightly unmotivated or something, I'll just like throw on some YouTube fucking, you know, tutorials or some shit, like just something to fucking like get me like in that mindset. Because I mean, realistically, like even when it comes to Instagram, I'm trying to be surrounded by positivity and just like creative shit. Like I don't want like TV, fucking like MTV, like back in the day, like just like, you know what I mean? I don't care about like, you know, seeing all the bullshit. Like it's entertaining sometimes, but like I'm even on my feed, I'll try to purposely go like a bunch of motivational pages and shit just so I can see that come up.
I started muting people.
Yeah.
I didn't want to unfollow them, but like I just, you know, I wanted to, when I get on my Instagram, I'm glad you brought that up, because this is what I think is taking place now is like, if I'm following a lot of people that give me anxiety, they might be family, they might be friends that I do care about. I don't want to unfollow them, but I don't necessarily want to see all this dumb shit that they're posting or this or that. Like I want to follow things that inspire me.
Right.
Like I want to, if I'm going to be on here for 7 hours a day or whatever the fuck my phone tells me I am, then I want it to be full of shit that's like, I want it to be like, I want to be consuming things that make me want to try shit or do shit or see that place. Yeah.
or
and
motivates you. Yeah,
these fucking, I know that we were talking about reels earlier, but they're just like, it's getting to the point where like people have already figured out how to make money with reels, and it's not with good content. It's a looping video that has some kind of like attractive, like I need to see what happens thing. And, the shorter the video and the quicker it loops, the quicker the views, the more you get on your AdSense basically. Right. And so what's happening is like Instagram's rewarding shitty content because the shitty content gets consumed more because nobody knows what the fuck's going on. Right.
Yeah. It's
the
like
baseball's coming at the camera. And then it's a walk around a bike. Like, what a fucking letdown. That stock lowrider-esque. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
But because it has the views and the plays, it's like, oh, that's what
people want.
Yeah,
it's an algorithm that you're trapped in like this repetitive loop of things. And don't get me wrong, like there are TikToks and there are fucking reels out there that I find funny as hell.
Of course.
Like I like this dude PDUSA.
Dude, that's my guy.
I fucking watch this dude all the time. That shit.
Mine's Stony McBlaze. That shit. You know what I mean?
Slacking off, watching corn.
Yeah.
Fucking, dude. That shit was
dude,
fucking
you
good.
tying your shoes with rabbit ears? Everybody knows that's a low integrity knot.
Yeah. Dude.
So it's like I'm good with reels that are actual content people are making. Real content, right? If you're doing it as a reel or you're just doing it as a video on YouTube or Instagram, I'm down for that. I support that. This low hanging fruit content shit, it sucks. And I even did I did a test on it about 2 weeks ago. I put out 2 reels, right? One was a reel of just us riding down Monument Valley. It was a phone thing that I literally put no edit in. I just put a song on it and threw it out there. It's 15 seconds long. Hit like 40, 50,000 views on it, right? The next one was a full day of rain that we all got rained on in Idaho. And there was a spot we stopped and Big Will Cody took his clothes off and run him through a dryer and shit like that. So like a 40-second video reel, and I think it's the only reel I've ever posted in my life that hasn't got over 10,000 views.
No shit.
And it's just like the one that I tried on, it didn't get pushed out there enough. You know what I mean?
Funny how that works.
But the content is exactly the same. It's the same riding footage, the same style footage, another good song. At least I think it is. And then it just, maybe because it was longer, because it was over a 30-second long video and the other one was like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
So they loop it. No, it's like they don't pay attention. They don't know when it, like if you can make the video not, like you can make them not know when you started over.
Damn it.
It's a trip, man. And the only thing about it is this is a good segue right here. Obviously, the photography game is thick right now. There's everybody. It's a low hanging fruit hobby that is low barrier of entry. Anybody can they can do it with their iPhone. There's iPhone photography photo walks. You know what I'm saying? So maybe this shit with Instagram, with them limiting photos, it's going to deter and push away a lot of the people that weren't that invested, right? Kind of cleansing the palette, if you will, over the next couple of years for photographers that are going to weather the storm. Does that make sense?
Like a crypto season, like a crypto winter. Fucking toughening you up. Are you going to hold or are you going to sell? That's literally fucking it, dude. But yeah, I get what you're saying with that.
I spaced out, but I want to get back to this real fast just so that I can help my buddy Jace out. How many pictures, if you go to take a fucking shoot, let's say a portrait style shoot, what are you hoping to come away with?
Portrait
as far as some really good images. Like you want 3, you're looking like, you want to, of course you want 100 good images, but like realistically, like if I go take, shoot for an hour or 2, let's say for an hour, that's a pretty good portrait session.
If I do a portrait session, I'm probably looking to get at least 10 portraits that I can
that you
send.
think are 10 bangers or like 3 or 4 bangers and 6 really good ones that they're going to be really happy with.
Something that I would feel comfortable posting myself.
Okay.
And feeling like, because I hold myself kind of to a standard, and that's where I overthink things. Yeah. I'm just like, oh shit, is this fucking good enough or no? Because I don't know, I feel like I have these expectations, and that's what gives me anxiety sometimes when I go to a shoot and I have no control of the environment, because it's like sometimes you're put in these really fucking hard conditions to shoot, but you're the dude. So they expect you to fucking, you know, have fire, but they don't know what goes into those fire shots, and they could give you something like a curveball, you know what I mean, where it's just shitty fucking lighting, and
yeah,
you know,
it's bright outside. It's 1 o'clock in the day.
That's what I mean.
Fucking Texas. Like,
just,
what are you gonna do?
They don't know what goes into those shoots. Like, but yeah, I try to walk away with like I'd say at least like 10 like images that I can deliver and be confident in. But
So
that's like within
10 pictures. Like,
Yeah.
but because in your head, like Ivan said, he's like, I just don't feel like I could deliver 30. I'm like, dude, 30 images that's really hard. Like 30 different poses for a fucking model. Like,
yeah, dude.
Most models don't know 30 poses. I mean, the good badass ones do, but not like the chicks that are in the local little groups. Like, they don't know 30 fucking poses. Yeah, right. Like,
yeah, some people deliver like a shit ton of images though. That's like what I don't like about event photography, because like I do it, but like I am all about getting those like 10 bangers and like pouring more time into those than just fucking whipping out 200 photos, and they're like, because of there's the quantity, I can't pour myself into them, because they also want those quick too.
And that's another good
like,
one is so like
quality over quantity.
Yeah. So for instance, even in the sports world, but also with what you're doing, there's guys on the sidelines that have similar gear, but these guys are just taking the pictures after the game. They're literally not leveling the horizon. They're not cropping shit. They're shooting it all horizontal, and they just upload 300 or 400 pictures. And then, you know, I will go home and I'll edit 5 or 6 hours to edit, 100 photos or something in sports. So it's not near as technical as portrait style shit.
Yeah.
But even still, like, people are like, dude, what's taking so long? It's been like 2 days. Like, the other guy edited 500 photos. You only do like 50 to 100. And it's like,
they give you that pressure, and then your price difference, they could be way cheaper and they deliver more.
Yeah, he does it for free.
Yeah,
you're charging me this.
People getting their foot in the door.
That's training the customers to want. And I think you said it earlier today, right? About like anytime someone pays you for something, all of a sudden they put you in a different category in their life. Versus if you do something for free,
it's a respect.
For them.
Yeah, like, it's like the guy that I learned a tattoo from, Chucky. That's what he literally told me. He's like, he goes, because I asked him for a tattoo and he told me a ridiculous price, and I was like, whoo, like, I was like, man, you're charging like good on you, bro. Like $250 an hour for some black and gray work. Like, that's awesome. And he's like, that's the only way motherfuckers respect it. He goes, because when I do it for cheap, they don't respect that. Your friends don't respect that. He goes, but whenever they ask you how much is a portrait session and you tell them fucking $600, like, they don't like it hearing that. But when they shit out $600 of their cash for your pictures and they get those pictures, it means a lot more to them than when they paid you $50 and you gave them some images. Like, they respect those images a lot more if they had to pay for it. Like, and
it's hard. Like I said, like the biggest thing I struggled with, and I'm still figuring out like my pricing and shit like that, just because it's like these clients become friends, and then it's like a fucking weird thing because I want to help them out when they're in a pinch and shit, but at the same time,
so how do you deal with that?
I fucking,
because that's interesting. Because that's me right now. Like, I mean, I shoot a school, and you'll have 3 to 5 kids paying to have their kids shot for the game, but one of my homies from years ago wants me to come shoot his kid that's a senior this year, and it's one of his last games, and like, I want to go do it for him for like $100 because that's what it'll cost me in gas to get out there and just to go do it, but I'm passing up $300 or $400 by.
You're right. I know what you mean.
So how do you deal with that aspect of it? Because that's the hardest. The pricing yourself when you're first starting, like he don't know what to price himself at because because you're not sure of what you're worth, But like you take good images and like people love them, and so like they're good because you look at theirs and you look at other people's, so it's good. But how good is it? Like, how much are people willing to pay for it? Like,
that's another thing. Like with traveling and shit, you go to like certain areas, they're like there's nobody else out there like doing the shit you're doing or something, so they might be used to these really low prices or something. You know what I mean? Because they're used to getting shit for free because they're like an Instagram model or some shit, But then it's just like, I don't know. Then you go to like, expensive city where they're used to paying for everything's expensive. So it's just like, you know, the cost of living and all that. But it's super fucking hard to figure out what level they're on. That's why I try to ask people what their budget is now, like first.
Yeah.
Before, so I can kind of range and then see what I can like give them, and you know, try to meet somewhere in the middle. But at the same time, I don't want to shoot myself in the foot.
I mean, an interesting way to look at this is like, for when a brand of, and I'm talking about in the motorcycle industry, when a brand works with you on a project, those images or the things that you provide for them takes their brand further. And your like notoriety on top of that, oh, Chop shot this one brand. I don't know who the fuck they are, but I want to see what his next set of photos is. It brings more attention to their brand. So it's the same thing. Like, and I used to tell people this, it's like the transition from before social media to after was, before social media, I relied on that bike shop that had all the customers walking in wanting paint jobs to give me one.
Yeah.
To then, that bike shop didn't know how to use social media. I did. I got, air quotes, known on social media. Now, you as a bike shop can gain more recognition to your brand by having me as a painter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because it's like, I feel like I've hit that point with certain like posts and shit on Instagram where, you know, you're not also paying for my images, but you're also paying for the exposure and the following and shit. Not that I have like a huge following, but I can take my insights and show them when I'm pitching. When I'm pitching myself to like a client, and I only really pitch myself to clients that like I fucking would want in my life. And I'm just like, look, like I try to give them something that I've shot that's close to their product. And I also just try to show them the insights and shit that I've gotten from that. And I feel like, you know, it doesn't hurt to throw in, oh, like, this is what this did on socials and stuff like that, because that matters. And those are, you know,
they're realistic expectations.
Every view is one person's fucking eyes.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, it's hard to fucking get to that point, but like, that's also what you get, you know?
I mean, I like a lot of different photographers, and you ever heard of Annie Leibovitz? You ever heard of her?
Never.
She was a Rolling Stone photographer in the late 60s and 70s, and she's one of the most highest fashion photographers for like Hollywood and Vogue and all this shit. She's got some fucking really badass images, a lot along like your lines of like editing. Shoots Hasselblad, Hassie. Shoots on a Hassie.
She shoots that rich people shit.
Yeah, and I mean, I got one of her books, and I listened to a couple of her like, not quite TED Talks, but in the photo world. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, she's one of those chicks that's getting $50,000 to do a photo shoot for Vogue magazine. You know, and like people want to be shot by her. Yeah, you know, just like I want to one day hopefully have an image of like, to have you shoot me was like one of my goals as well. But also Michael Lichter is somebody that I highly respect in the motorcycle photography world. Yeah, from a different background than you and I and things like that. But you know, every time I see Michael Lichter out there, you know, I think he was at fucking the Fuel Cafe when we were all there that time. Yeah, he was. And he's got like 5 photographers walking around like shadowing him and things like that. Mm-hmm. Like, he's just giving back. And I mean, I don't know, like to have my photo taken by him, it's valuable to me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
it is definitely a thing, you know, like, you know, that guy definitely put in his time. Yeah. And shit
since
like
the 70s, dude.
Anybody stunt riding in America right now that they want some Chopskee shots. Yeah. Like, they do. It's just what it is.
Yeah, I mean, Lowlife, what's his name?
Lowlife, yeah, Dylan.
Stunts, yeah.
Dylan? Yeah, because I saw him, I met him, I don't know if I didn't meet him, but I saw him at the ESR event that we went down in 21. And him and like the dude from, what's the other one? Out of San Diego, the Cinders Only guys.
Yeah, Joey Robinson.
Joey, yeah. And all those cats, I mean, they're killing it. But like in the stunt world right now, it's almost like you got to get some Chopskee fucking shots to legitimize your stunt career, dude.
You got to.
You know, everybody's trying to get on the junkyard and sit down Steve and Seabear level, you know, and CJ Barham and shit. So like these guys, and they're all killers. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Dylan's a killer.
Ridiculous.
They're all killers on the bike. So
It's.
but who's it more valuable to now, though? Is it more valuable for the stunt rider to give you the opportunity to shoot what they can do, or is it more valuable for them to have shots by you to put out there?
It's more valuable for the stunt rider 100 to have a badass photographer taking their pictures.
Oh, 100%.
And I am totally not a badass photographer like that. But just in Fort Worth, like when I started taking, like I was going to Dallas all the time and doing the riding, and then eventually I was like, I'm not doing that no more. Like I'm going to try to put into my own little community in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
And so I would just take my camera to the lot, and I would take, 50 to 100 photos of the homies riding in the lot. And then what happens is they post all the pictures online, and they're not fantastic, wonderful, great, loving it. They're not Chopskee images, but they're high resolution, quality image, better than your cell phone, better than a GoPro. And then eventually, like, people want to come from over there to come over here to ride the parking lot, and they don't want to come ride the parking lot because our parking lot's better than theirs. Like, there's somebody over there that's taking really good pictures of them, and it looks good for their social media. And so it's more beneficial. If you ride, it don't matter how good you are. If you're posting fucking potato videos and pictures, like, nobody cares. They're not looking at your shit.
Yeah.
But even if you can only just do a basic wheelie, but Chopskee's taking your pictures, like, you're going to look like a fucking superstar. So it's more valuable to have the content. Like, we live in a world where it's content based now, and everybody needs content, and I think it's a good time to be making it, and especially if you're doing it better than most people are.
Yeah.
So I appreciate like all that. I don't know. That's why I'm like trying to hold myself to like a standard of what I post and shit. And that's what I mean when I say like I'll send 10 images that I would feel comfortable. I don't want to send them shit. Then people are like, oh, like
he's
supposed to be fucking good, because if there's a lot of hype, you know what I mean. And like to me, it's still weird even like getting hype because it's like. I've only been doing this for, like 5-6 years, like I said. So I don't know. At first it was like a little weird getting like recognition and, but it's just, I don't know. There is a lot, like you were saying, there's a lot of people who try to like jump in front of my shit now. And, for it, like in the stunt scene, that can get like sketchy because I shoot close.
Yeah. Super
and
close.
like, I know, fucking where Seabear is going to be, Kenny, like they know where I'm going to be. And I know they're in control, but there's a lot of fucking people who are on that like clout chasing shit. Yeah. Or whatever, where they're not really clout chasing, but they're more just like trying to make that name for themselves. So they want to get in front of the camera and get that shot and get exposure. But then they're like, they could loop out or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you put yourself in danger.
Yeah, and I don't know, I almost got hit a couple times, but I don't know. Hasn't happened yet, thank God. But it is what it is.
Yeah, there's the whole scene, everything is like revolved around photos in some form or fashion. Like, writing is writing and things like that, but, obviously right now a lot of people are getting into video, whether they're starting YouTube channels or they're working on reels or something like that. But at the end of the day, like, you wake up every day and you look at more photos of motorcycles than you look at more photos of motorcycles than you look at motorcycles. So if that's the case, like when I started using photography to like take pictures of my helmets when I painted, it made my helmets more valuable. Right. 100%.
They look sick too. Like that's what, like I was like, man, this dude fucking actually, like, you weren't just a dude with a camera, like you were putting out cool shit. Yeah. And that's what it was like. I was attracted to your page because it's like obviously you made your name in like the paint shit, but like your images were also like reputable. Yeah. They were fucking like clean. You know what I mean? Rather than like, someone just trying to throw something out. Like you could tell you took the time to learn and like, you know, it looks good. And
It got out of hand.
Yeah.
There were smoke machines involved.
There's a lot of shit that happened.
There was a lot of shit going into it. I had a light trail guy that would run through and do this thing, and
the long exposures are they're fucking trial and error.
And I do enjoy all that. I did get bored with it though, and this year I barely shot almost any of them, just because I got bored with like that setup, that angle, this, and I was telling him like I want to do like a backdrop system down there to have like kind of like different ways I can shoot stuff.
Yeah,
and also like I don't know if you guys have dealt with this much, but. And once again, all you motorcycle guys, I'm sorry that this is a nerd.
Like,
this is a photography nerd out podcast.
Shit, yeah.
When I started shooting with flash, like off-camera flash, I immediately loved everything that looked like over everything else I do, and so I almost never wanted to shoot anything just naturally. And it got to a point where like I wouldn't shoot that much because I'm like, I don't feel like pulling out the lights.
It's a fucking haul, dude. That's why like. I don't know. I try to. At first, I wanted all this gear and all this shit, and now I'm just like, fuck. Like, I have to carry around this. I have to travel with this. Like, going to the airport with, you know, Pelican cases and shit. It's a
bitch.
It's frustrating, man. That plus your clothes and all that. Everyone's like, why do you have so much luggage? I'm just like, because I have fucking equipment, dude.
Yeah.
Like that plus my
bringing
laptop.
a business over here.
Yeah, 3 suitcases is my camera gear, and then I still need my underwear and fucking socks and shit.
I need that Sprinter van life, dude. I need to get that, get a little fucking mobile studio. That's what I really wanted to do. Like, I wanted to get like a toy hauler, live out of the shit pretty much, and just go to all these events and be able to have a mobile studio, but I also have like my desktop in there and shit like that.
Yeah.
And I can, you know what I mean? I don't have to fucking fly and just live out of a bag, you know?
Yeah.
Like the Sprinter van is probably going to be the move for me in like 2023.
That's a move. 100%.
Get that shit.
My man's
wrapped.
got one over there.
Yeah, I got one. I love it.
Yeah, you're good.
I love it. I literally went to we did a show in Tyler, which is like 2 hours away from my house, 2.5 hours. And after the show, I did 3 shows I haven't rode in months. And I did 1 2-hour practice day, and then we did the show yesterday. And after the show, I was driving. I got like 20 minutes on the road, and I was nodding off, and I was like,
right.
fuck this. I seen rest area. I just pulled into the rest area, laid down in the back seat, and just passed out and went to sleep in the van. So it's the way to go. It saves you the hotel bills. That's
what I mean. Just for like a quick night where you're just trying to get a couple like hours of sleep so you can drive the next day.
You don't drive in 30 hours. Like, you know, you pull over for 3 or 4 or 5 hours and keep going.
Yeah, I definitely like the biggest thing I think for that would just be to make sure you have AC. Yeah. As soon as that sun comes up,
if it's a diesel, you're straight
hot.
The diesels, you just crank it all night long. Right?
Yeah,
AC or heat.
That's what I need to do. Dude.
And it don't burn.
You get that, black out the fucking windows and shit, and just.
Do you have some tips? You got tips for somebody? What about somebody just beginning? Because maybe there's people on here just listening at the beginning. Like, what's some tips to like maybe getting to where you're comfortable? What do you think is a good way to like if you, let's say like Chase is multiple published. He's published more than anybody in the photography group that I'm in, and so but still, you second guess your worth on like you know what would you recommend to people that maybe something like that like to where. If you're really into it and you think that your work's where you kind of want it to be, but you don't know how to make the leap to go into, I want to get paid to do this.
So going from like doing it for yourself
I'm doing
to
it for
getting
fun,
paid?
because you always want to do it for fun and for the passion of it, and you don't want to do it like everybody's in the fear of like, well, if I start doing it for money, am I going to lose the passion of it? Because that happens in other areas of life.
Yeah, that's why you don't. That's why I don't chase weddings, dude. The money's there. Yeah. You can go shoot a wedding, get 5 G's, fucking every wedding, easy. Yeah. 5 to 10 G's. But then you're a slave to that shit. Facts. Like you're indebted to that shit. And like weddings put me behind because there's so much in post that you got to do, and it's a lot. And I would much rather go to an event, bang out something, and be done with it. You know what I mean? And like, you know, work for multiple brands. It keeps it fresh, exciting, rather than a fucking shit ton of the same fucking thing. You know what I mean? But
do you like shooting for brands or people better? People on the brands, I get that, but you know what I'm saying? Like for an individual or for like a company?
On my business side, working for brands, is better because they come into it like knowing that they are going to have to pay, you know, for the service, and they already have that mindset and they have a budget set aside for it, and it's more, it feels good. Like somebody, you give them your fucking number, what you're trying, your ballpark, and then they're like, yeah, we can do that, and you're just like,
yeah,
fucking sick, dude. You know what I mean? Because it's just like it's a crazy feeling, because I always thought I was just gonna have to, like, I didn't have a passion that I did for a living growing up, so I was just like, I always thought that I was just gonna be stuck doing some job that I hated. You know what I mean? And that was gonna be my life. Just have to suck it up. I didn't think it's so rare for you to like do what you love for a living.
Do you think it's rare to get to do that, or do you think that people have so much doubt in themselves, they're so scared of the failure of it, that they just continue doing what they hate every day because they're scared to try something that they love and fail? Because for me, it's like, if you try it and you fuck it up and you suck, they're still hiring over there at fucking Whataburger and Panda Express.
Yeah,
or,
right.
I mean, Home Depot's still hiring tomorrow. Like, so who cares? Like, go try it. Put your fucking money, all your eggs in a basket, and go give it a fucking shot.
Yeah.
And if it fails, like, you can still go get a job back at the same place, you know?
Yeah, that's where I honestly, like, you know, I think there is a lot of fear when people make that jump, because they're leaving their nest egg, you know, and it's not like we live in the best times either. You know what I mean? Where, like, you know, tomorrow really isn't like promised, you know, like financially, like the world's going to shit. It seems like, you know what I mean? Unless you have like a good gig going on.
I don't think that, I mean, it's not that cut and dry. I don't think people are in a situation where like one day they have this job and the next day like, fuck it, I'm quitting to go do this. Like, no,
of course not.
What needs to happen, I think what people need to realize is that the transition from a shitty job to a job you love is months, if not years, of every amount of free time you got investing in this other thing.
Facts.
While still maintaining the livelihood that you have to have over here. And eventually, all this investment starts to equal out to what you currently make at your other job. And then once it starts to do better, that's when you know that this job is getting in the way.
That's exactly where I'm at with Nuke.
So I was just going to ask that. I was going to ask you, so is there a point, do you see in your future that you stop the Nuke completely and you just do photography full time?
Dude, like first day back at Nuke this season, I was just like, what am I doing here right now? I'm missing out on, you know, shooting this and that and giving up my spot, you know, and possibly, you know, having these brands reach out to somebody else, because regardless, they need content, and that opens the door for somebody else if I'm absent. Yeah. So it's like that, like I said, I overthink everything. So that like goes in my head. I'm like, fuck, like I don't want to lose this opportunity. You know, I work so hard for this, and then just to fuck it up because I got like I had to go work my safety job. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that job, like I told myself I'd do it for 5 years and get out, and it's been like 6. So I'm like right there. But it's hard to get out because I can do both. Like I said,
I would say this to you as like an encouragement situation. I don't think anybody like there's always going to be other people that are as badass, if not better in some aspects. I mean, I'm friends with painters that like Jeremy at Lucky Strike in Poland and these other guys that are killers in some ways, way past me, right? But I'm just honored to be in their presence, and I see other homies. Like I know you got a Poland helmet on order if it's not done yet, and you know my homie Jeremy's done a lot of helmets for homie himself, and you know what I mean. So it's like I try not to be in that cutthroat mindset of like me versus them, because I can't handle every opportunity that's out there, like with paint. And so it's instead of like me getting all wrapped up thinking that my reign is over because the homie's got another dude doing helmets now for him. It's like, no, like he's still got 2 with me, and I just need to, you know, it might be a motivator for me to step up my shit or start being more innovative, you know, that way I stay fresh. But you need that though. Yeah.
No, it's definitely it's a push. You know what I mean? It's a motivator. Then you get comfortable. You know what I mean? That's one thing I really try not to get is like I don't want to feel like I'm always gonna get hired. Like I always have there's always, just like musicians, you could be hot one year and not the next. You know what I mean? So you got to keep that shit coming, and that's why I try to, stay on my shit, because, just because I might like have something that people think are a banger, everything gets old.
Yeah.
And it'll have its time to shine, but then you got to keep up with it. But I don't know. The whole thing is.
Well, what I was getting at was like, I wouldn't. So the nuke thing, if that pays well, and it pays the what I'm looking for, it pays your what is this, like taxes and all that type of shit, dude. I would not fucking, I don't know.
For me, it's the health insurance. Like I get my health insurance for that. It's paid for completely throughout the year, even when I'm not working.
Yeah, because
it's like
the entrepreneurial life. That those are not options.
That's what I mean.
Affordable.
Yeah. But also, it's like
But how much healthier are you going to be doing something you love and you're happy about every single day over something that I fucking hate every day?
That's what I mean. And it's also like with nuke, it's a weird thing, because also I'm exposed to radiation, shit like that. And I could potentially get fucking cancer over a fucking paycheck, over a job that I had nothing, no,
it was just a paycheck.
It was just a paycheck. So if I get sick, like in the future over money, like I would be like pretty bummed on myself. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, man,
I'll be bummed for you,
I should have just fucking like, oh,
I'll be hitting you up on for them presets.
Let me get those presets.
Let me get them presets where you kill
like,
over, dog.
If I would have just quit nuke and went photo full time, I wouldn't have been exposed to all that radiation and shit. But at the same time, that shit's helping me, and that shit is the reason why I had the funds to get lenses and camera gear and all that shit, even a bike. And I just wanted to get my shit rolling. It was supposed to be a building block, and now I got my shit rolling, and now it's time to pull the trigger, and I'm like, fuck. It's like it's hard to fucking let it go, because it's not quitting McDonald's,
because there's uncertainty. And
it's just like I can stay consistent and all that shit, but like I don't know, dude. That health insurance and having all that in the back pocket is nice. It's also nice to fucking, I don't know, have a whole ass career just sitting there if you need it.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's kind of, in a sense, like I don't have the health insurance and clearly the taxes. But, knowing that like, like the podcast, I mean, exactly what I was telling you about, like once this side thing starts to kind of interfere with like the other thing, and you need more time for the side thing, then you got to start cutting the other one out. And that's kind of what happened with this podcast. Obviously this podcast didn't go so well with the audio situation, but it's I've had a really, really tough time over the last year accepting that like this one thing I spent my whole life trying to be the best at, or my best version of it at, is something that I no longer love, enjoy. I mean, I do enjoy it and I do love it still. I no longer see it as like my main source of income or my main pursuit in life, And I think about that all the time. It's like, well, we're doing well enough with the sponsors on this podcast that I could probably, not have to paint anymore.
Yeah.
But I couldn't afford to keep this shop with the studio, the lift, and I don't have a house big enough to house all these things. Right. So I still have to paint to maintain this. And I don't necessarily want to stop painting. I just don't. It's like, it's kind of like I want to do it for fun or for myself or for my friends or on projects that I would love to be a part of.
It's me and tattooing.
For yourself.
Yeah.
Like I tried to go. So I just made the jump to making money doing photography. Like I literally was for a year and a half or whatever it was since I'd worked here. I picked up the camera because of Jace. Jace had a camera, and I was always doing GoPro shit.
Yeah.
But it's just, it don't matter how good you ride. If your videos and shits with a GoPro, like nobody wants to look at that shit, because there's people with real fucking cameras and people are paying Chopskee to come take their fucking pictures. So like, you're pissing in the wind. And so I got the real camera just so if nothing else, I could maybe help put the people in our area that are riding pretty well, like help them out. You know what I mean? So I just kind of was doing it for the fun. But But then I just like maybe 4 weeks ago now, I was just like, I went to tattooing maybe 3 months ago. Let's go there, I guess. And then I was kind of like, everybody hits you up for it kind of, but then when you start doing it, people are like, oh yeah, maybe I'll come. You know, and tattooing isn't like pictures where people always need pictures of every birthday, every holiday, every, every sporting event, but tattoos, like they get one this year and they might be good for 4 or 5 years. Yeah. And so it's like kind of, people weren't hitting me up. And I haven't tattooed in a few years, so people have gone to other people. But then I was like, man, like this isn't really cutting the fucking shit. And so I was just like, I literally just posted on Facebook, like, hey, I'll be taking some pictures. I took some pictures of a sporting game, and I was like, if you want me to come take pictures of your kids. And then, like, people just started hitting me up. And then after, like, a week or 2 weeks into it, like, fuck, I'm booked out for, like, 2 or 3 weekends in a row. And it's like, well, fuck, maybe this is a good gig, I guess. And it's been going pretty good for me. That's
pretty sick.
That's what'll happen to him. If he just fucking takes it for real, he'll be serious on it.
The photography world, and I know that you guys have met. I know you have, and I just assuming that you have as well. The pay gap between what some people make in photography and what the majority don't make anything, it's just wild thing, right? Yeah. There are brands out there that will pay $15,000, $20,000 for a shoot in the motorcycle industry. You know, they'll pay that. I've seen it, right? They're not paying me. I don't know if they're paying you yet, but then there's also people that are doing, like you said, they'll get $5,000, $10,000 to do a wedding. You know, they'll this little angle with the sports thing, like it's a numbers thing with what they're doing, but it's still quality photos and it just adds up. It's like, it's kind of fucking like, duh.
Yeah, I've been second shooting for a lady and she'll do she's like, what you're doing is great. Shooting one kid at a game, shooting the game, or shooting 4 to 6 kids at the game. She's like, that's great and all, like you can make okay money. She goes, but I want to shoot the whole fucking football league, the team and individual photos. She's like, I want to shoot 400 people through here in 3 or 4 hours, and I want to do a minimum package of $50 a piece, and at 400 people, it's $20,000 minimum. She's like, and that's in one day. She's like, that's what I want to do. I was like, damn. You know, she's talking about this year she's on the track to make $1.2 million this year.
That's wild.
Doing fucking little kids football and cheerleading pictures.
That's nuts, dude.
And so it's like,
should go fuck it up over there real quick. Bro,
I just told him, Jace, I was like, bro, I'm literally thinking about selling my Road Glide, my Road King, and my Dyna just to go buy all the gear needed to do it. Because I did, if I could, she just got a $100,000 loan and she paid her loan off in 35 days.
Yeah. If you there is ways to do it where if you just go find like a Target like that, you know, and it just takes a couple kids posting your shit or families seeing their shit where the other moms and dads are going to be like, oh, like I want some of that shit. You know what I mean? And then, you know, and then you're doing more quantity than like the quality thing. But, I don't know. There's certain markets like that you can tap into.
Yeah. So I think for me, and I think you were saying it earlier, and not to diminish that at all, because trust me, I'm thinking about it. It would, if anything else, it would be a fun challenge just to shoot more people, because that's one thing I haven't done a lot of actual people stuff. I know I can pull it off. I don't know how quick I can pull it off. So that's where like that would be great
I was
practice.
doing 3 teams an hour my first day on the job.
For real?
Like I can teach somebody that don't know how to do it in like a few hours.
See, that's also why like I don't know, like that's the void of art that kind of pushes me away from certain things.
But it's not though, like, because for me, like, could everybody take them? Like maybe, but probably not. But not everybody's going to take out $100,000 business loan to buy the equipment to fucking do this. Like she did. That's why she's making the big bucks. Like, the difference between her and everybody else is they've got $1,500 invested and she's got $100. I
still have this like romantic idea of like a photo. Like I said, I've said to both of y'all, like I got this West Texas trip. I'm putting this pussy on a pedestal right now, right? I have these blurry images in my head of what I want, and I'm gonna go out there trying to find them and make them happen, trying to line them up, like line up this composition in the West Texas desert with a bike, with some neon signs and a bike and some off-camera flash. Like I have these photos I want to take, and that's honestly for me when I hit those because I do that on the trips. Like when we take the big trips with the dudes, I look down the coast and find these badass spots and on Google Maps and when I hit those like things that I wanted to get and they fucking come out as bangers, I'm like, hell yeah. Like that's what I wanted as out of this photography journey on this trip. So
you're gonna
like
do
I said,
it.
right now, I think I'm still just in this more selfish mode with photography where like I'm doing it for myself and what I want. And then, like I said, when I feel 100% confident that no matter what, I can walk out and take banger photos, not banger photos to them, banger photos to me.
Yeah.
Because I did on the way back from Sturgis, I stopped and I took all my photography, all my lights. 90% of my car was photography equipment, and then me and my wife had 2 suitcases just like stuck to the side, right? And then we were leaving like a fucking Boulder, and my boy Joey Borrelia is down there in Pueblo, and I hit him up and said, hey, I'm coming through, I want to shoot your bike. He has a clean road glide, and I'm like, do you have a couple spots that you know of in town? I'll check them out on this drive down. Perfect spots, mountain backdrops, sun setting, great spots. I walked away with photos that he loved, or at least he said he did, and I hated, because I fucked up. Like I think I used too much flash, and you could see the flash and reflection of the paint in some spots, and that drives me nuts.
It's easy to do that though.
Yeah, and it's like I didn't, I was. So I'm thinking like, shit, I got like all these hours to shoot. I got like 2 hours to shoot. We started at 6. It was dark at 7 because of the mountains.
Yeah,
I forgot the sun went behind them. So like I ran out of light.
That's what I mean. Like going out in the elements, dude. You never know what you're going to get, dude.
So, I walked away with, I shot maybe 120 photos, 130. There was maybe 4 that were okay, that would definitely do social media and stuff like that. But
that's a good outing, right?
But it wasn't, not for my social media.
No, but I'm just saying that. But that's a good outing. If I go out and I shoot somebody's bike, and I'm in a place where I don't know, and I'm on the conditions of whatever, if you come away with 4 or 5 pictures that you would post on your shit, like
yeah,
that's a good outing.
I also misjudged the where the sun was going to go down at.
Yeah,
so
that happens.
When we went there and scouted the location, the sun was still up, and then we went and met them, had dinner, things like that. And then as the sun started going down, it started going behind this building. I had this badass like loading dock where if it would have just went down right behind it, it would have been this perfect like backlit, and then the flash would have filled in the other side, and it would have been money. But it just didn't happen that way.
Yeah.
Went behind the house. There was no light over here. It was just a dark, empty shit show.
So how do you recommend going from, like I just made a post and it just like people just started messaging me, but how do you recommend somebody to go from shooting for fun, hobby
to getting paid?
To like, okay, I think I am ready, but I don't know, to make the jump. Like,
to like quitting, like their job.
No, not quitting your job. To just getting paid to do photography gigs.
Honestly, I mean, I think it's really just let it happen naturally. I think like I got offered, like, somebody offered to pay me, and so I was just like, sick.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool. I'm not gonna turn it down, Got paid like $50 for a shoot, and then I was just like, I let him know. I was just like, yeah, that's my first paid fucking shoot. You know what I mean? And then after that, I was just like, I was just like fucking on it, and I was just trying to, figure out the best way to budget, like, or just give people like budgets and shit like that. It's hard.
It is. And for me too, I'm in the new, like I said, I just made this post like fucking 4 or 5 weeks ago. So me too, I'm in that stage, but it's a rough stage of, like for me at first, obviously, like I'm sure you did the same. Like you started doing it for cheap, but then you filled your books up with cheap fucking shoots, and you're like, fuck, I don't have time to do shit because I'm full of $50 and $100 shoots. That's when obviously if you're booked out for a fucking month, it's like I should raise my fucking prices.
Yeah, you got to up your shit. You know what I mean?
And then do you take it? Then how high do you take it? Do you take it until they aren't willing to pay for it no more, and then you go back a little bit?
I'm still figuring out like pricing and all that shit, but like lately it's been pretty good. And
do you want to talk about your pricing at all?
Yeah, I mean, like honestly, like I don't I'll say this: I don't want to pull out my camera for less than 500.
That's okay. Yeah. See, so
That's
like
fair.
for me right now, I was telling people, toss me $100 and I'll come shoot the game. I don't care, whatever. Like, that'll pay for my gas, whatever. I ain't tripping. Like to just kind of see how that goes. But then it's like that was booked out pretty quick, and then I'm like, well, fuck, I don't want to shoot 5 days a week for $500 fucking dollars. Like, that's not enough money. And so then I start thinking like, well, how much money do I need to make a week to make it worth my time? Like,
you gotta. I think once to go back to like, well, what point do you start charging? I think if they are hitting you up to go shoot something that you have like no business being at, like you naturally weren't going to be there. You know what I mean? And it's just out of your way to do that and the work. Like that's paid. You know what I mean?
And it's like a travel plus.
Yeah,
like travel expenses plus like the your time.
Like they would be kind of like dicks to just expect that out of somebody.
Yeah.
To fucking, hey,
Torque Magazine.
I know you got your own life going on, but like let's just take your fucking time.
Can you go to the Bagger Race League and just shoot photos for us for nothing? And do it on your dime for exposure? Yeah, that's
Except the whole exposure thing too. That shit gets fucking weird. Like with like models and stuff. That's why I don't shoot as many models in these days. Like
that's a good subject, I think.
Yeah,
it's I love shooting models and girl or fucking female, but like it's almost like who's gonna pay who. You know what I mean? If I hit somebody up and I'm in their DM being like, hey, let's fucking shoot. Like, I wouldn't hit them with a price for a collab. You know what I mean? Because if I'm hitting them up to collab, like I rarely collab, but like if I was to, I wouldn't hit them with a price because I kind of approach them. And you know what I mean? If they hit me with a price, then whatever, you know what I mean? But like, it's a weird thing. And it's almost like who has what to offer.
Yeah.
But then it gets weird because there's models who have fake followings, shit like that.
Yeah.
And then it's fake engagement. I actually have like had conversations with models who have said that they have bought fake followers just so they can have photographers shoot them for free.
Yeah.
And that's whack, dude.
Yeah, see, that's me. There's like we're in a group, and not to shit on the group at all. This group has been so fucking beneficial for me. Like I post anything in the group, like, hey, I'm looking to do something today. Can you help me? And they're like, information like out the ass. And like, I'm doing headshots of my brother for a business I've never even taken a headshot.
Yeah.
Can you and they send me videos and links, and so they're awesome. But it's like a TFP group. A lot of some of it's paid shoots, but they do little meetups. But a lot of it's TFP. So you get these girls that come in there and like they're just there to build their Instagram or whatever, or to get high resolution good photos. And so for me, it's kind of like I tried it, but I didn't feel like I'm benefiting at all. Like I'm not taking these pictures of these girls and then people are asking me to take their photos because they saw these photos that I took of these girls. Like, and the girls aren't hitting me up to pay me. Like they're just waiting for the next meetup to go get more free shots from everybody.
Yeah, that's one thing.
And so for me, like with the model thing is like, I try to like all these guys that are in this little group, I'm trying to, and there's girls also that photograph, but I'm like, are y'all trying to, cause like a lot of them are trying to make money doing photography. I'm like, but if every single Saturday and Sunday, y'all are meeting up with these people that are doing TFP shoots, like, you're never going to make no money like that because they're not ever going to pay you and nobody's hitting you up.
Expect it.
Yeah, no big models are willing to pay you.
The other thing that takes place here with this is that like everybody knows that if you post hot chicks on your Instagram, you'll get followers, right?
Yeah, naturally.
But those aren't followers that are ever going to turn into anything for you because they followed you because, I probably see some nice ass and titties over here.
Yeah.
Right?
That's why I followed Chopskee to begin with. No, I'm joking. I'm just joking.
But so you're building up a following of people that aren't necessarily going to ever turn into real like transferable connections, right? Like they're not going to, these aren't people that want to take your photography seriously. They want to buy a course, or people that want to hire you. They're like, I like following, we talked about the things we follow online is what we want to see. There's a bunch of dudes, and I ain't mad at them. They just want to get on Instagram and see as much ass and titties as they can see.
They love it.
Period.
Doing hard time.
That's all they care about it.
It's hard to avoid at this point. It's fucking all over.
It's everywhere. And so like, so you have that. And then even like, and I don't, definitely not trying to get my ass canceled for this shit, but like, even a lot of the girls, the women in the motorcycle scene, like they'll try that. They'll go this path of like righteous rider, I'm this and this, and it didn't work. And then they unzip that jacket a little bit more, and more people start following and liking, and the next thing you know, they're on. They lean into it because it's unreal. It's not real. It's not real engagement. It's like I don't know. I guess I can't speak for women in that aspect, but at the same time, it's like if you're a beautiful woman and you're taking pictures and you get a lot of following that and there's opportunities that come from that, then that's awesome, right? And if you happen to ride bikes, that's awesome too. But I don't know how this all, like, where does this go? Like this compounding interest situation, like nobody ever makes a dime, and what does it all mean at the end of the day? Like, oh, I just took pictures of 500 banging ass models over the last 4 years. I now have 1 million followers, but nobody knows what I look like. Nobody's hiring. I'm still getting TFP shoots at 1 million followers.
That's my thing with the TFP. Like the TFP is great to build your portfolio if you're trying to do portraits or whatever you're trying to do. It's great, but beyond that, like I try to tell the guys in the photography, I'm like, hey, none of y'all have ever even tried shooting a Little League sports game, but if you go shoot a Little League sports game, like parents will ask you for the pictures and they will pay you for the pictures. Like
I thought about doing that shit for like more like that, like what you're talking about, just the mindset of, profiting and just good like marketing, like going to like all these in my town. There's like this every Thursday or some shit. There's an old like car show, classic car show.
Oh yeah.
All those people, they're fucking like, those are their babies. You know what I mean? They're the last thing that they have that they fucking thrive on. They go there every fucking week, set up their chair and fucking open the hood of their car and fucking they get stoked on it. And there's a shit ton of them in every fucking like town pretty much. Yeah. And if I thought about this, I was just like, shit, dude, if I go there and I just fucking give one guy a shoot and just like have him prints to fucking have at his shit when he sets up, and then like they all talk and shit, they all know each other. I'll just do it for one dude, and then the rest will come from that. I feel like, and they have money because it's their last. Those cars take a lot to restore, and it's their last fucking baby.
Yeah, I mean, my buddy John Jackson, Not Stock Photo.
He's such a killer.
He does car photography, and he's one of the best, in my opinion. Yeah. And he's told me what he charges. Like some shoots are, a lot of shoots are in the $5,000 range to shoot a car. You know what I mean?
Unreal.
And he's shooting with a medium format camera. His shit's big enough. He's shooting with a Fujifilm that you could print that shit out in high resolution on a billboard, dude. Yeah. It's so fucking insane. And but he's also like a very well-known, very highly published, still published to this day in magazines.
But he's put in the hours.
Yeah. Yeah. And he has the Sprinter van like you're talking about, and he just travels the country and shoots.
That's the... When you know that you got it and you can do it, I feel like then that's your move as a photographer. That's when you're serious shit. Is like when you know it and you are telling everybody else is, I now live in this fucking van and I travel around and I just do photos. That's what I fucking do. Like then you're like it's like the guys on the stunt riding scene, same thing. Yeah. If you have a big Sprinter van and you fucking got your shit in there and you're hitting 12, 15 shows a fucking year, like that's what you're doing. That's your life. And like you're committed to doing that, and that's what you fucking do. Like, how's
it been for you, Chop, with like being a part of the stunt community and just the Daytona, the lexin, like everything that you've been a part of and been in the mix in these last couple of years? Like, what's it been like for you as a photographer of all this shit?
Honestly, it's chaotic. That's the only fucking thing I could say. It's chaotic, dude. It's like, that's perfect. For one, you're trying to get the content that you need, but also there's all these different riders. They're all different fucking areas. They're all doing different shit. They're partying, whatever. It's hard to. It's like herding sheep, dude. It's hard to get.
It's like herding drunk sheep.
That's exactly drunk fucking sheep. Yeah, and then
let's be
honest. Let's say, like, for instance, it's like the Plex calendar. Shot the Plex calendar, and we needed to get all these different riders, and they're all in different parts.
Yeah.
You know, and so it took a while. It took like 6 months to get the shots that I need, just because it was either I was like, hey, let's try to shoot around here, and then, you know, it's like a go. But then when the time comes, they're fucked up or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or they're like doing something, like everyone moved, there's a ride or something,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So it's like, it's really on the fly. And that's what I mean when I say chaotic, because it is what's cool about it is it's a lot of high energy, and it's fucking exciting and shit like that, and that's why I would shoot it even if I didn't get paid. Like, I mean, like I'm gonna fucking at this point, like I'm gonna fucking get paid, but let's say like I would shoot it for myself, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna fucking distribute it to brands so they could use it for free. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know. I don't want to shoot myself in the foot and say I'll just shoot everything for free. But yeah, I shoot that shit because I enjoy it. And also it's the closest to skateboarding that I've gotten. Yeah. It's going out in the streets, getting clips, and it's like not as much like shooting in like a lot or something like that. Like lots are cool, but that's like a skate park. It's like going to a skate park and getting a fucking, you know, all skate park shots. You know what I mean? But like when you're out, getting like kicked out of spots, chased by cops, whatever, it's the same energy that came from the extreme sports like industry.
Yeah, and that's what we say that a lot, and we're like, you know, most stunt riders used to be skaters.
Yeah.
And
that or motocross,
because it's the same thing. It's you're going out with your homies and you're fucking trying the same trick fucking all day long, and you might be eating shit trying it, but eventually you fucking stomp it, and everybody's just pumped on it. And then like, you know,
well, even the content, like when you like an old stunt video, right, some Starboy shit back in the day, like just seeing them on the streets with traffic, like it creates that element of like, that's way funner to watch. Or like the 12 o'clock boys, like these kids on these dirt bikes and shit that are doing that crazy shit, like
wild.
I don't want to see that in a parking lot. I want to see that in the streets. I want to see them swerve out of the way and not hit that bus.
Barely miss the old lady.
I know. It's getting wild, dude, because it's like a lot, like people, it's like skating, like everyone kept posting, progressing, you know, everyone wants to like do something that's the next like hype. Yeah. And get fucking, you know, good content and reaction, and, you know, just try to build their name. And that's like part of it, is just like having to one up your fucking self every time you go out, which is why I'm glad I'm not a fucking pro skater, because like, you know what I mean? Like shit, dude, I would be way more torn up than I am right now. Yeah. But like, you know, I still skate, but it's just for, you know, for fun at this point, and just to go do it.
I took the chicks route out, and I wasn't getting any views on my fucking wheelie videos, so I just got butt naked and rode through Deep Ellum, and that's what I'm famous for. I just took my clothes off, and it worked for me too, so I recommend it.
He rode a sport bike through Deep Ellum, like our party district, butt ass naked, just waving at people.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so that's what everyone would be like, dude, you're that guy that rode butt? Like, yeah, that's what I did. It works. I got my views.
There's people who do that too, skating. Like I've seen people skate half pipes, fucking, you know, video of them just like skating, just like
dolling all out.
When you see people doing that, they're in desperation mode.
Yeah, that's just like,
speaking from experience. Yeah,
that shit. I don't know how people skate like barefoot. Even just barefoot. Like I know some people who rip like that. And it's just like
they got them fucking
caveman.
They must walk around with those fucking things, those dogs,
calluses and shit. Yeah. Well, you know, I just wonder because, you know, being in the mix of it, and, you know, I've seen you at Mama Tried in the circle getting the shots. I've seen you, you know, like I said, obviously for Lexin over the years, just running, helping them create content. Daytona, Sturgis, fucking, you know.
He's out there.
Yeah, you're Born Free, you know.
ROC.
It's a fucking
ROC.
It's a routine now, dude. Yeah. It's like, shit. But there's always something coming around the corner.
How was your experience to Born Free? Was it your first year this year?
This was my third.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know, it was pretty cool. It was just like, you know, it's really just like walking 5 feet and having a conversation. Yeah. Walk 5 feet, have a conversation. You know, it's not like as exciting. I mean, it is cool. It is. They have like a vert ramp there. There's a lot of good energy. They have good music. Yeah. And it's one of the rallies that I enjoy going to most, I think. Well, that one's more of a show.
Do you think it's probably hard to get content there, like the kind of photography you want to do? at
It's
a show
limited,
like that?
dude.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to that type of stuff, where it's just like bikes being displayed.
Yeah.
I hate shooting in that environment just because it's bike after bike after bike, and you can't really isolate the one bike. You can, but it's just like you're better off. Like if I want to shoot a bike at an event like that, I'm gonna ask the dude like, "Hey, can we take it over here?"
Yeah, that way you
get it
single
away
it
from
out,
everybody.
clean
Yeah.
backgrounds.
Because it's like trying to shoot a bike like that in a like there's a crowd, there's people fucking looking all around, like you know what I mean? Just like you're clearly like taking a photo, and then people are just like looking.
And then you have the
like,
next bike in the background.
Yeah,
like
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It just gets annoying, and then I feel like a dick for saying something. So I just try to avoid it and just try to not shoot it.
Yeah.
Unless I'm like, taking it away. But I don't know. I try to keep it to just like the action stuff and, cool stuff like that.
Yeah, I dig that. I had a hard time. I had my camera out and I walked around with it a couple of times. I'm like, like I feel like I should be getting something here, but like nothing is appealing to me.
It's limiting, dude. You can't like take the bike from the show and stuff sometimes, and
I've always hated when they would do that. So like when we did the show at the did you go to that part of the camp out where we started doing the bike show thing? It was like it was Saturday night.
Was that when the burnouts contest was happening?
Probably.
I woke up. So were you asleep already?
Oh, maybe? Probably, dude. I did mushrooms like
bro. I was passed out in the fucking truck, and I woke up because I heard just first gear burnouts, and I'm like, who the fuck is doing burnouts at 2:00 in the fucking morning at the camp out? Like, everybody has to want to whoop whoever's at his ass. And then it stopped, and then another bike started doing it, and just first gear, and I'm like, who the fuck is doing these first gear burnouts? Like just banging limiter. And then like the third bike started doing it, and I was like, all right, I'm fucking walking. So I got my flip flops on and rolled a blunt and walked over there, and they're doing a burnout contest at the little pit or whatever they had over there. And I was like, what are y'all doing this for? Like, is this like he's like, oh, the winner gets a free turkey leg. I was like, well, I'm coming to get that fucking turkey leg then. So I went over there and got my bike and rode my bike over there in flip flops and shorts with a blunt in my mouth and started doing a burnout all the way through fifth gear and popped the tire and kept fucking going. And I won a free turkey leg that was cold as shit, bro. It was tough. It wasn't no good.
The principle of it, yeah.
But yeah, I was like, we're going to win this motherfucker.
Winner's gonna win, baby. Mm-hmm. Well, what we did, like we wanted to, so we had a nice little tree canopy going on there at the camp out, and we had all the bikes on the ground. So you had piercing light kind of coming through it as the sun was going down. It looked pretty dope. And I was trying to separate all the bikes so you would have like some like angle to where you could shoot it at, not like 24 millimeter, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could be out there with a 70 to 200 and get some shots of these bikes, because like the more like content friendly your event is, the more content that gets made at your event and the more free advertising you get.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So it's like you want, like when Steve came to last year, we were out there doing the fucking thing in the front.
Flash and shit.
When I set up the flash and we got all those like badass shots, everybody hanging out and shit like that, I was so fucking bummed that I didn't get that this year. I just never got into that groove. You know
I was waiting for you to do it this year, and I was like, where's the fucking photo shoot, dude?
I wanted to.
That was the best part of that whole camp. Maybe not, of course, but like, I was pumped on it. I was like, that was fucking cool. Like, that was a good idea.
I remember seeing those, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
It was fun. Motherfuckers pouring beers on each other. Fucking, what's it, old Big Sexy over there? Fucking laying down, getting beers poured in his mouth. Like,
the camp out this next year is going to be pretty insane. We hit 1,000 people last year at the event, and
you should come to that. It's fun. Yeah. It's a good little
it's
shindig.
It's all the same people that you like that we fuck with, right? Mm-hmm. Camping, partying, lots of recreational drugs, not hard drugs, recreational drugs, drinking. There's a lot more people just showing up just to party now, which not like Oklahomies, like straight, meth people, but like
Hell Yeah Brothers.
There's Hell Yeah Brothers coming out there for sure, but
yeah.
But they're cool as fuck. It's a good vibe. And even though it's the Hell Yeah Brother guys, it isn't.
Yeah.
But there are a good number. There's people coming out in RVs and just chilling. But they're not even bringing their fucking bikes. But it's a good atmosphere. It's a good vibe. I walked up at night on the Saturday, I think, or whatever, and I was like, It took me like 15 minutes. So I found, oh man, I can't remember her name, but I found somebody in the group. I was like, fine. I like walked around for like 10. Everybody's looking at me like, who's this motherfucker in flip flops and fucking Nike shorts out here? And then it took me like 10 minutes to find somebody that I knew. I was like, where's everybody at?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, there's a bunch of people.
There's a lot of people.
Nobody knows anybody. I was like, damn.
Well, this year we got a lot more brands coming out there.
Yeah.
You know, things like it's going to be a good one. The other thing I'm trying to do, Chop, is this. Like, you probably have a hard time making this, but I think I talked to you about it a while back, but I want to do, we always do an anniversary party. We didn't do one last year, but I usually do an anniversary party, which is usually right around New Year's, January-ish and stuff. But I think I want to do, I had talked to some homies once about doing an art gallery show, like a show, like a, what the fuck do you call them? Like imagine this, like you, me, we all kind of bring like some of our prints and some of our shit, set them up. There's a party, there's a DJ, there's drinks, there's some bikes set up in the middle.
Would be sick.
Like a party, but like based around like other artists that have like, you know, they can sell prints or t-shirts or whatever they have.
Or knives or
well,
maybe not, I mean, obviously not the
art-based stuff, you know what I mean?
But I'm saying like, custom.
Like Tattoo West does the wood cutouts.
Yeah.
Like that'd be dope if he had a couple pieces he could sell.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, like all types of artwork.
So that's what I want to do with the anniversary party. And I kind of want to, like, I haven't released the Born Free podcast yet, but he was telling me about Born Free 2 was a block party. And he was telling me about it. I was like, that, because I've been to Dear Larry's block party before and it's fucking epic. And I'm like, if I could start an art show anniversary party and turn that into a block party.
Yeah, that'd be
somehow
cool.
Still with the same vibe.
Would be sick.
Yeah, dude.
That's how ROC was. It was a block party. Like,
we
just shut the fucking road down like all weekend.
But I want to like focus it not on like, I want to focus it on like the photographers, the creators in our spaces, because I feel like so often, like, you know, we get kind of like, hey, go take pictures, boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, like it ain't really about us. You know what I'm saying at all. And we're the ones that are capturing all these great memories. And of course, like, you need guys like Sit Down Steve and all the stunt riders, to do these like things that can really put the icing on the cake to remember, you know what I mean, the event. But at the same time, like, it just, like, another thing I'm going to do, like, maybe this will tie into is like, so from Sturgis to Sturgis every year is going to be a 1 calendar year that I'm going to do a photo book. So I'm working on volume 1 will be from this past Sturgis to the next Sturgis. And it's just going to be Fast Life Volume 1, Fast Life Volume 2. Yeah. 100 page of 100 or like 100 photo book. I have been saying it for years now. One of the first upgrades that pay off for the longevity of your motorcycle ownership is a ThunderMax EFI module. For those that don't know what that does for your riding experience, basically the T-Max module provides your Harley-Davidson with proprietary auto-tune technology. It has a barometric sensor and a wideband O2 sensors, which constantly read the ambient air and air-fuel ratio to optimize the performance output from your fuel-injected engine. You can order these modules with pre-downloaded base map for your current stage of performance, or have the bike brought to a dyno tuner for a custom map. I can tell you from experience, I've watched my bike on the dyno learn from every dyno pull in real time. It works, and I have been running these modules on my bikes since 2015. The team at ThunderMax are some of the best in the business, and you can catch them supporting the big events like Sturgis, all the way down to things like our camp out. ThunderMax is in the streets with you. Head on over to thunder-max.com and get yourself dialed in with a T-Max tuner and drop the Fast Life offer code at checkout and save yourself 10% on your purchase. And follow my guys on the gram at ThunderMax EFI. And I don't know, like I've been wanting to do some of that stuff, but I didn't, like, I try to tell this to everyone, like, my brand has a big name, right? Or air quotes, big name. I don't want to make all these events like the Fast Life Camp Out, the Hood Ride. All these things are not about Jace. Like, I'm just using the brand name to get people into the fucking yard, right?
That's great.
And so, like, the concept behind, like, doing this art show kind of thing
You're not
is like...
rolling, by the way.
Huh? I hit
Oh,
record.
my bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you're wasting the good shit.
So I basically want to create like a show that, you know, like I'm down to have like a badass bike and a couple bikes in there, you know, to display, but I really want it to be a show that really focuses on the artisans involved in things, right? And they have they have prints for sale. They have like a ability to communicate. They're partying, like just, I don't know. Like I'm thinking about these old art shows I used to go to when I was a kid, you know, and how that could translate into what we have now, you know, in a way.
I think that would be honestly sick. The closest thing to that is probably what is it? Fuel?
Yeah, you were telling me about
Fuel
that.
Cleveland. Yeah, they have. You know, it's more of like an art show. It's like an art motorcycle show, I think they label it as. Mm-hmm. But it has a little bit of everything in there. Mostly, you know, booths set up, even just, but like as you go throughout this building, there is, you know, people's art set up with their name displaying it and all that shit. And that was the closest thing to what you're describing, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of on point what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's definitely more
smaller scale though.
It's definitely more on the chopper vibe, but yeah, it'd be cool to see that as well, and like, you know, the stunt scene or whatever, performance Harley. But like me and Justin George, I don't know if you know him or not. Yeah. Him and I were chopping it up a little bit, thinking about doing something like that at Sturgis, not like an event, but more so just like a night of like displaying art and have our shit.
That'd be
badass.
badass.
Just something like that. And
because Lichter kind of does that, but you know, with you had like Brian Helm as one of the featured photographers for the his show this year. But no, that'd be sick, dude. If y'all could find a venue and invite Jace and stuff like that, it'd be really dope.
That would be
definitely invite.
Yeah, no, definitely like
Lotlizard.
Yeah, if I can have some shit up, like, and like Justin kind of, he like approached me about it too, and he was just like, oh, like I thought it was like, that would be sick. Just that like Iron Horse or some shit like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be cool to like throw that out there, maybe
make something happen with that. But that's exactly what I think would be badass, and I think it'll make me go back and look at my work. It's like we were talking about, you know, you've shot 100,000 photos, and I could say I probably have like 200 photos out of my 30,000 that I think are bangers, right? Mm-hmm. And then out of that 200, like how many would I say like I want this to live on past me? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like how many would I actually put to print for other people that other people might be interested in purchasing?
Because
like that's a different story.
The other thing that I'm thinking about too is like I shoot a lot of, and we were talking about this at the little bike thing we did, or the little photo walk we did. I feel like I have been cheating the system, right? I take pictures of custom painted helmets and custom painted bikes. Like,
well, it's the same. He takes pictures of fucking dudes doing stunts. Like, that's cheating the system. It's not. Yeah. The work speaks for itself. But the people are already doing really cool shit. Yeah. It's like, you know, like even I'm cheating the system doing the sports thing. Like they're already playing football. They're already making tackles and jumping and hurtling and making badass catches. And like, if you can just capture it, like it's already cool because it's a cool
people
theme.
Do good with tits and ass.
They're cheating the system.
There's some people.
Them motherfuckers are really cheating the system. And then Chopskee's doing both. So he's like,
yeah, I think it's one thing if you shoot that stuff and like, you know, just post it and like it does good. It's going to do good regardless because of what it is. Yeah. But like if you can try to make that and make it tasteful and you know what I mean? And make it not just about that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just hard to make that, I guess, like tasteful. I guess. Like,
well, okay. Let me ask you guys this, because if you're thinking about selling a print, right? Like I want to take pictures of bikes or something that's motorcycle related, but I know no dude is gonna go buy a picture of my motorcycle to hang on his wall. I mean, maybe if it was like the Fast Life podcast, like something to support the brand, cool. But as art, like he's not putting that in his living room. And so I want to take photos. My next move is to try to take photos that are moto inspired, but they don't cross a boundary of ownership to any particular person that they know. It's more vague. Maybe general. The bikes are more less custom, or they're custom bikes, but they're not like painted to where it's like, oh, that's so-and-so's bike on Instagram or blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like a little bit more just mysteriousness to
more
it.
generic. More,
I know what you mean. Yeah. Just generic, more, just like anyone can have it.
Yeah, like anybody could put it on their wall and be like, oh, I just love that. Like this setting reminds me of traveling on my motorcycle, and I love seeing this. You know, it's this landscape or this architectural photography or whatever the thing is, but it has this bike element in it. You know what I mean? And that's what kind of connects it.
I think that's pretty tough. Like,
yeah, it's a challenge.
I think it is, to be honest. Like, I think it's pretty tough because, not that it can't be done, of course, but I think it's pretty tough.
Especially when because trust me, these are the photos that, like, when you post on Instagram, they're not going to do as good as the helmet or the titties or something like that, right? But I think that, like, Instagram is like, I don't want to allow Instagram to dictate what is a good photo that I've taken, right? So that's why I want to have an art show. That's why I want people to see my photos bigger than their phone. And I feel like when people see photos that have been taken that's on a larger scale than their phone, they'll then realize why cameras are better than, or like actual cameras are better than phones. If you're only going to see it there, that's the only place you're ever going to consume photos, then you're never going to take it in. When I'm editing a photo here, I'm like, fuck, this is amazing. And then you put it on this little fucking phone and you're like, it doesn't.
Yeah, I know what you mean. When you see shit in print, it hits way different. And it's definitely a little bit more, people immersive. Value that shit, They see that shit, they want it on their wall, and that's why when it comes to like shooting like for print and stuff like that, like you're right, like it probably would be best to not have it one specific person, you know what I mean? Unless they're like on that like rock star level, you know what I mean, where they're like, have like fame and shit. But like, I don't know, because like, I mean, people fucking hang up pictures of like, just like headshots of Sinatra and shit, but they're on that level, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're also a part of history and shit. But like, I don't know, when it comes to certain stuff, like it has to be something general.
I'd put up a headshot of Indian Larry in my house if, I think Brian Helm took a badass picture.
So I mean, if it's like something that's like a sick shot, but it is like I don't know, people are like, if you're stoked on it and it's almost like iconic.
Yeah.
Then it's like, it's different. But like, I don't know, for me, like, even with my shit, what I hang up, like, at my house, like, I usually I have a bunch of photos that I've taken, but it's of, like, just, like, moments, just that, like, it speaks to me because I've experienced those. It's, like, memories to me, but they wouldn't fit on somebody else's wall.
Yeah, a lot of the... You
know what I mean?
A lot of the photos that I took on this wall right here behind me are that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, that's a dope-ass shot, but... If you're not in that picture, like, and you weren't there, like, you're not gonna buy that motherfucker and put it on your wall because it's some pretty motorcycles in front of a pretty mountain range.
Yeah.
But we talked about it before because I'll be posting in the photography group. When I was doing a lot of the bald eagle photos and shit like that, and more of the wildlife stuff, and everybody in the group's like, "Dude, you should be selling prints. You need to be printing these out." And I'm like, "To who?" Like,
yeah,
right.
Which ones? What pictures?
Sell them to a gas station. Let them sell.
It's like, what pictures am I
gonna
fucking
shooting for wall art? Yeah.
Like, what pictures am I gonna like? Who's gonna buy a picture that I took of a fucking bald eagle? And
if you think about it, you go through like Target and shit, and the shit that they put up that people buy, like just little fucking black and white picture that was taken of a cow.
I was just gonna say of a cow,
of a cow, a fucking pig or something. You know what I mean? People love to hang that shit up. I wonder how much they made off of that. Or even you ever like walk through like a hotel, and just see the shit
that's in there.
It's in there, and how much they probably paid for that.
I have one picture that I think would sell on prints, and I took it early in the morning. I walked outside, so our neighbor had mama, a daddy, longhorn. The mama was pregnant. It dropped the calf in our pasture. Well, so now there's this little bitty baby fucking longhorn, and I'm like, one day, and it's next door, you know what I mean? So I'm like, one day it's going to be like perfect conditions, and I'm going to go out there and get some good shots of this little calf. Mm-hmm. And then one morning I woke up and I was drinking coffee, and it was foggy as shit outside. Like, you couldn't see nothing. And I was like, I'm going to go get my camera, and I'm going to go find the baby calf. So I go out there to get it, and I go through the fence and go walk over, and I see the baby calf by the hay bales. And there's like, just got a shot of the mama longhorn is like, the baby's right up against it, and the mama's head is like right over it looking at me. And it's like a dope ass shot, and it's all foggy, so you can't see shit in the background.
Yeah.
And it's like
that shit would sell at Hobby Lobby all day long.
That picture will sell here in Texas. And I was like, so then we started talking about the photography group, you know, like what pictures would you like in Texas? I would take pictures of longhorns, cattle, bulls, horses. Like, that's the shit that people here hang on their walls. Yeah. Fucking big deer and
just shit to fucking have on their wall. Yeah.
But like, that's not the shit that you want to go shoot.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. And sometimes it's just the simplest things that is like, you know, wall art at that point. Just fucking, like, I thought about making like a series of like, just like body parts, like just like in like kind of like color or black and gray. Like, I did this shot with my one homie. This was a while ago, and I posted it, and it was just a tight shot of like, he has like heavily like tattooed hands, and like he has rings and shit, and then he's fucking like, he's just holding this girl's like tits, but he's covering the tits with his hands, and it was just a tight shot like that, and people fucking loved it. Everyone's like, "Yo, I would fucking purchase that."
That's the kind of shit.
Like, just something like gritty, like, you know what I mean? It was just like, if I put that in black and white, you know, it's anonymous. It's a vibe.
Yeah, it's an anonymous photo of somebody
that
anybody could hang in their house. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to show that to you afterwards. But like,
now let me get a print.
Right?
Yeah, even that first print.
Even the boards, dude. Like, I was printing on boards for a while. I was going to do that. And those always,
that'd be badass.
Those sold, and that would be something that's both of my passions coming together.
Yeah.
Actually, like 3. Fucking photography, skating, and bikes, or whatever. But it's like, printing on that would, I think, be a little bit different. You know what I mean? But I would print on a board. I'd sell it for like $80, $80 to $100 for a deck, which is high for a deck. Like, you know, to skate, it's like $65. But like for wall art, that's what it's meant for. You know. So like, I started printing on boards, but then there was like, you know, COVID happened, and there was like a big, like, you know, getting wood and all that shit. And it was just like a fuck. It just took too long.
I'm trying to like decorate my house. We pretty much taken all the art down. I used to have a lot of paintings up. I'm just either giving it away or just whatever. And I want to fill my house with photography, but me and my wife were talking about this a little bit. I was like, I just don't know how I feel about like hanging up pictures of myself all over the house. I like want to hang up pictures of my life and through photography or, you know, things like that. Like, I'd rather, it's like, you know, in here and then in my little airbrush area, I have like pictures of my friends and my kids and my wife, like the people that I love, right? Like, I want to see that all the time, not my face.
Another picture of me on my motorcycle.
Yeah. So, you know, we're trying to go back through the house and like set it up with like some dope shit. And I'm trying to shoot for that. Like, I'm trying to actively go out there and shoot stuff. And then I've got so many friends with like bikes that are cool bikes that aren't necessarily custom painted ones or whatever. So like, I just need to lean into it more. I need to lean into these ideas and, you know, try to take advantage of, especially right now with the good weather that we have, and just get some shots of shit and try some shit.
Getting out and executing is just getting out there and doing it, dude. Like,
how many days a week do you get out and shoot? Obviously, different weeks is different, but let's just say on like.
And I'm not on Nuke Life and shit.
Sure.
These days, probably I would say twice or 3 times a week.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good. Yeah,
that's getting out there.
Like, I would try to get some content. I used to shoot, like, when I was learning. And this was before I was even getting paid. I was like shooting every day.
Yeah, and I would go out where you're at. So
shoot at night and by myself, and like, and I'd get stoked to go rush home and edit it. You know what I mean? And like I still get that feeling for certain shoots and stuff where I'm just like anxious, where I know it's a banger sitting in there, and I'm just like, fuck, I can't wait to see what this
even
does.
right now. I do. Even in a high school football game, like that one play happens, and you're like, dude, I can't wait.
Yeah, I was wondering that.
Yeah.
That's one of the things like I was wondering about you. Like I almost have to take an iPad with me on a like a bike trip, just so that if I had a good run of shots, I can pull them out and check them.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
sometimes it sucks, dude. It sucks when you know you have gold and you can't even like touch it until you know what I mean.
What about so like
Later.
in ROC? I seen you were editing on your phone though, right? At ROC, or maybe you were doing a reel. Maybe I think is what you said.
That was what I was doing. I was putting
You were
together a
doing a
reel.
Okay, because I thought you were editing, and I was like, damn,
Yeah.
this was fucking editing on location on a cell phone.
I've done
I did do that,
some shit on the phone here and there when it's like just to jazz up like a basic photo for like something I'm putting online.
Right.
You know what I mean?
For me, it was like more so. I did have my laptop in the bar there before that dude got shot.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
I was like in the bar editing on my laptop with my fucking AirPods in, and that's what shooting the stunt shit is like. Going back to that, it's fucking editing and shit, and just trying to like get shit out and like
While people are
the
getting shot outside.
Yeah, crazy fucking scenarios, dude. But yeah, it's I don't know, just having that on deck and shit is nice. That's why I need to get like more, I want to get that other Pelican case and shit too, so I can have my shit like secured. But I don't know, dude. It's just having that shit on deck is really helpful to fucking get all that.
Do you have some goals right now? Photography goals?
Get the mobile studio rolling next year.
Yeah, that's sick.
I think that's
so
like
badass.
the main thing for 2023 is being every year I go to rallies and shit. I try to like take what I learned and like try to get the more efficient and like how can I make more money this way, or just like even housing and shit like that, and living with certain people on the road.
So my buddy Monty Roach, he does like the pinstriping thing, and he has like a kind of like a fifth wheel essentially, and he hits up all the rallies, and he kind of goes along the country, and then of course he has like his off season, right? So with you, I feel like if you came up with like rates for your like event photography, like say if I wanted to hire you to shoot the Fast Life camp out, you know what I mean? And you have that kind of there, but at the same time, you also like have coordinated a 6-month schedule to where you're like, okay, I'm coming to Dallas or to the camp out. And then from there, what's right after that? Myrtle Beach is like right after that. So it's like, okay, how can you like hit these things? Because it would be like Daytona, then here, then this, and that.
It's kind of all over, dude. That's
that way, that way you can still charge for the travel, but the travel itself wouldn't be so overbearing. It's not like you go from Buffalo, New York to Daytona, then back to Buffalo, then to
dude,
fucking.
It kicks the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Dude. I'm spent like.
You need a house in your van in Kansas.
That's what I mean, dude.
To where you're like, to where it stays in the middle
of the country is. There's a reason
Kansas,
why I stay here. Trust me,
and then go.
I've been all over this country, and there's so many badass places. But if you want to enjoy all the badass places, living in the central part of the country is the fucking thing.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Because going from New York right now to Cali, is such a fucking pain. And then like this is the first time I'm driving. Even I'm driving from Alabama, cut through here. I'm going to Huntington Beach next for Moto Beach Classic. So that shit this is the furthest that I'm driving,
Yeah.
So we'll see how I hold up on that shit,
I love that shit though, man. Yeah. Especially when you get out there, dude, when you get fucking 200 miles west of here and the fucking trees get so short you can see from here to the next state over. I love that shit, dude.
Yeah.
Badass sunsets, badass sunrises. And I mean, just all these. There's. I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm working out your business plan right now.
Oh, it's all
but
good.
Like whether it's an event, you have an event price, and then you have like you hit up these shops on the way that you can kind of come through, and you have like a entry level social media package where you come in, maybe shoot a couple of their bikes or blah blah blah, give them this, and then scare you on. Because at the end of the day, it's like it's combining kind of like your concept of. How can I get, if I'm in Dallas for the next 3 days, how many $500 shoots can I do on said projects and then leave here with, a month's salary?
That's how
Right.
that's how it is with like the racing shit now. Now
Yeah.
I'm tapping into that market, and it's like, you know, everyone there, they're all if they have money to be racing, you know, they have a budget for, you know, that shit, because that shit's all expensive.
Yeah.
Just to spend one day at the fucking track, you know what I mean? If they're investing that much, you know what I mean? You know, chances are they have the budget for some content.
Just like as you probably are already well aware, but like, so for the football game, it's like, you know, kind of like with the racing thing, there's so many people doing it at the same time that it's better. So with a football game, it's better to not, like, okay, you can charge like $300 to cover the football game. That's fine. But it's better to get 6 parents that will pay you $100 to shoot their kid during that game, and you give them 25 images of their kid specifically, and you're just shooting the 6 kids, and then you can shoot the action in between or whatever if you want to for marketing or whatever to get the good content. But then you're getting $600 for the game instead of $300. Same thing with the racing thing. It's harder probably for somebody that's doing the racing and buying the tires and the fuel and all the bullshit to maybe shit out $500 or $1,000 on some pictures, but very easy for 5 of them to shit out $200 for 10 images of them out there for the day or whatever the math is. You know, whatever makes it worth it. But maybe that's a different way.
The other funny thing is, like,
affordable, better for you.
The other funny thing is, how many of these guys do you see? That's what we need to start a movement. Anybody that posts a picture from like Killboy or some shit like that, like with those, like the dragon where they take pictures of you while you're riding and you leave the watermark on there because you screenshotted it, you cheap fuck. Like we need to start like a hate, like a, what do you call, like a shame thing. It's like, because they'll do that, like, oh man, I don't want to pay $20 for this photo.
They just screenshot it, says proof across it real big. It's like, bro, come on,
dude, you got a fucking $100,000 bike, you cheap fuck. Get the hell out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of people like that. Surprised.
Tons, dude. I did it once.
I got to say shout out real quick because I'm doing a shameless plug for Jace. As I already said it off camera, but when we went to the show yesterday, first dude that walks up, he's like, "Are you Lotlizard?" Yeah. He's like, "Dude, I saw you on the Fast Life podcast." So that was cool. We were 3 hours away, 2.5 hours away from the house.
Yeah.
Some random dude walks up and he's saw the podcast with me. So shout out to you for putting us on for that. That's cool.
Oh, thank you.
And
thank you.
That's good reach.
Praise.
That's good reach. And shout out to the fucking Dallas guys. They're really these Texas guys, but they came out. They supported the homies, and that was really cool of them to come out and watch us put on a little show yesterday. So
they're just waiting to see if y'all want to go drink afterwards.
They just wanted to. They were waiting to see if I was going to wreck, probably, because I haven't rode in so long, and I did, but not till the third show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the podcast has done well, man. It's a collective support thing. It's like
it's a
obviously
cool thing,
I don't know if I got to buy a new fucking soundboard or not, but this
right.
I've been in the back of my head this entire podcast. I'm like,
It's like, fuck.
what's going on with this?
That
thing?
was me
That's
on
gonna
that
be the
shoot with
push.
that lens, dude. I was just like,
Yeah.
motherfucker. Dude,
That's going to be the push that
worth
makes Jace start fucking charging for photography, is he needs to buy a new soundboard.
I just took a deposit on a paint job right now. I'm fucking good on money.
Bullshit.
You gotta get like badges and shit, dude.
I don't know what, dude. That everything that, other than like paying for reels, everything that Instagram is doing right now to pay people is just cringy.
Yeah,
Like buying badges and the subscription thing. It's like,
I actually got somebody bought a badge for me on this.
for real.
Yeah, I was just like, oh shit, that's kind of cool. Sax Media, thank you. Fucking doing that.
What's up, Sax? You ain't bought no badge for me, fool? No,
Yeah. I don't even know what that means. Like, what is it?
I don't know what a badge is.
I don't know. I'm about to find out that
Zach's supposed to be saving up for a goddamn drone over. He's over here buying badges and shit.
I just supporting, you know.
They're never hating on it. Chopskee's like, damn, I should have said shit. You're getting
I'm pretty sure it was him.
We're getting publicly bashed. On
Zach used to work here, and he used to run the cameras and stuff.
Oh, really?
And work here in the shop.
No
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah,
And
he's
he
good
moved to-
people. He was a local.
Yeah. He just switched to Sony too. That motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
Everybody
When are you gonna
knows.
make the switch?
I'm
my
not,
guy?
dude.
Yes, he is. All the fucking real gangsters are shooting Sony.
What's funny is like I would like I've never shot in anything but Sony, so I can't. People ask me to compare, I can't compare it. But like whenever I speak to somebody who shoots like Canon or something, they're like, "What do you shoot with?" After they see my stuff, they're like, "You shoot with Sony, don't you?" It's almost like they can tell. I don't know what it is.
I think kind of different cameras like whether it's Sony, Nikon, or Canon or whatever, I think it lends itself to certain types of editing. I think it's something in the photo.
Well, like, Canon's a little warmer, so portraits a lot. You can have a little warmer.
Yeah.
Color tones, I guess.
It's possible. I feel like cameras though, legitimately cameras edit differently. You know what I mean? I think.
How do you deal with the people saying, "Hey, I want to take photos like you. I have a $600 budget. Like, what do you recommend for me?"
To buy a camera.
Wait, sorry, what was the question?
People that are like, "Hey, I really like your photos. Like, I want to take photos like you're taking. I have $600 budget. Like."
Shit, that's funny. I actually
because I get this.
I get questions all the time about like gear and stuff, and like somebody was like, "Yo, like, what did you shoot this in?" And I was just like, "Oh, shot it on Canon Rebel," And they were just like, "What?" They're just like mind blown because that's like entry level camera. It's like I feel like it's a lot of people's first. I almost got one, and then I was just like, I just had to fuck with them, and I was just like, but honestly, there's people who have $10,000 huge setups, but then it's just like they're not pushing anything out of it really.
Yeah.
And it's all about, it really is like some people think like, oh, that's a sick camera. Like, yeah, it's a sick camera, but also you have to have more to it. Yeah. Sorry, I got away from the mic. I don't know.
It's all good.
But yeah, I was like, there's a lot of people who think just because you buy that camera, you're going to have that fucking skill set, or your photos are going to look that way. And that's one of the most misleading things with photography.
I can say that's a fact because I asked him what camera lens he uses, and I bought a 16-35, and I shot with it, and I didn't get Chopskee shots out of it.
Well, it's like, I don't know. It's all it comes down to like your perspective and your eye.
Yeah, and the editing, like the editing is huge. That people don't realize, but editing is huge.
Have you found yourselves yet watching movies and starting to study how they shoot the movie just for like angles?
I love watching that shit. That's the shit I like to put on my fucking feed is how the behind the scenes, you know what I mean? And just like the movie stuff is cool. Like, the lighting, there's so much shit that goes into it.
Yeah, creating that vibe. And so like, and I've only noticed it, and I'm not even thinking of it for like video concepts, but just like the angle that they shoot this scene is like there's a director of photography that helps create that idea. You know what I'm saying? And it's like some of them are way more elaborate, way more thought into. Some of them are trying to create that vibe versus like some is just like, hey, just shoot, bam, bam, bam. But yeah, I don't know. Like I look at it everywhere now. I look for composition, for ideas, for things I want to try. Like I'll see photography in other areas and be like, man, I could see this as a motorcycle or this as something in our world. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Like there really is inspiration everywhere. If you're like tapped into that, like you're looking for the constant inspiration. I guess
I think that type of shit is if you are a creator, it helps yourself to surround yourself with other creators.
Yeah.
And that kind of energy, you know what I mean? Like that's like one of the things, like I even used to have an old roommate, kind of, ended up being a piece of shit, but I did enjoy living with him because he was a creator, and I could like take an edit and be like, yo, what are your thoughts? Yeah. You know what I mean? That type of shit, and being around somebody. That's why I think it would be cool to work in like, an agency or something like that, where I have like other, we're a team, but also at the same time, then it's like agencies can get weird because then like your work is under their umbrella and like, you know what I mean? Somebody else's name is on there, but like, I don't know. I'm torn on that. I've been offered to work at like certain agencies, and I'm just like, I don't really know.
It's hard when you've done all the work for your shit.
That's what I mean.
For me to take my work and what I've done and build your fucking dream with it.
Yeah, when they want like a piece of like a piece of the label, put their name on my work, that's where it's like gets kind of weird. Yeah. But who knows? Potentially it could be more work. You know what I mean? They have access to other clients. You know what I mean? There's all types of things you don't know.
I feel like I'm not. There's no way I'm in like nowhere in my life am I close enough to needing an agent. But man, like once I've realized what they do for the people they essentially work for, I'm like, God damn, like that'd be so much easier. Having an agent calling somebody to line up podcasts, like we were talking about this morning. Remember we were talking about like the blue check mark. It's like when I'm reaching up to people to get on this podcast that are more air quotes famous. Like I get left in red a lot because I just look like another DM in their fucking DMs, and I don't necessarily know what channel to reach out to them to where it's gonna stick. Like, hey, I have a podcast. I want you to check it out. Because these same guys, I'll see them like I said, our podcast stays in like the top 20 of all automotive podcasts, and then I'll see these people do a podcast for someone that's not even on the charts. You know what I mean? This shit doesn't even like chart. So it's like, how is like somebody had to facilitated or reached out to them or something in a way that worked, and whatever I'm doing is not working. Right. So, you know, a blue check mark that we were talking about that when you see a blue check mark in like your notifications or DMs, you kind of like, who's that? It's usually Tim Howley. But
fucking Tim, he loves that thing, dude.
It's like, but at the same time, like I don't want it for like the clout. I want it just so that it'll help me like get the things that I want for this podcast, and an extra layer of professionalism. You know, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I can see that. It's I don't know. I mean, I think that it is beneficial for you to like reach out to a client, and then you know they see that it is like beneficial in that aspect.
It's like when you reach out to somebody and they look at your Instagram and you have 150,000 followers, as opposed to 1,500 followers.
I've seen people with 10K like verified.
I follow a couple people that have like 2,000 or 3,000 followers.
Yeah, I know.
It's just about like what they actually do, and like whatever they actually do in their other life or not on social media that kind of makes that happen. But
yeah, if they're like a football player or something,
yeah,
you know what I mean. Even like these college players get like blue check marks. I think
that's wild,
just because they're like published and shit.
Did you say any goals that you have? Photography goals?
Photography goals, man. I want to quit Nuke, get the fuck out of there, and be able to, you know, do this full time.
Yeah.
I probably could at this point, but like I said, it's hard to pull the trigger on that when it's a good gig and I have the time to do both. But I don't know. I just want to bring what I brought to photos into video.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about this.
That's like pretty much where I want to be able to do both and be able to bring like, yeah, just like my flavor over to that and my editing somehow, like just take the time to learn Premiere, whole another fucking animal.
Yeah.
Dude, that thing is fucking
insane.
It's annoying how it's like, it sucks because it's like, you know, I went from like knowing how to do everything in Photoshop and stuff, and I was like, all right, I don't have to fucking relearn this. You know what I mean? Now it's like relearning, it's starting from the beginning and like cutting up videos and transitions and, you know, color grading and even just importing and being organized and have your bins and all that shit, dude. It's like, it's really important. It's really easy. And I learned, like when I first started photography, it's really easy to pick up bad habits and, you know, just not be organized and stuff like that. Like after a while, like I was just like my homie Jackson, he was just like, yo, I'm gonna get you fucking set up, and you just need to like keep doing this. But it sucks at first, but the more you do it, the more you're gonna just run
Good
through
habits,
it.
yeah.
And so importing and everything, I'm all organized and shit now.
I'm not, dude. If I showed you my Lightroom right now,
dude, I'll get you set up. Then I'm gonna pass the torch of like organization. I'll show you how I do it. See if it fucking is any different. But like for the most part, it all helps. But I don't know. Yeah, video I would say is like my main goal at this point, and obviously I want to keep my photos rolling. But
yeah, that's cool. That's a new
venture.
I didn't want to do no videos because I'm like, it just takes up so much memory space. Like that's like there's such large files, and then you got to try to save them and cut them and. Fuck, dude.
This West Texas trip I'm doing, I'm gearing everything up. I'm following through with like a GoPro YouTube video. I'm recording the whole thing. I think I got a premise of how I want my YouTube to be, and I'm gonna do my best to kind of follow through with it, because we started it on our big trip that we did in June. I started recording. We were like doing some talking pieces and capturing shit, and I thought it was stupid. I just thought like, this is dumb. I don't know why I'm doing this. When I brought it back and threw it on the computer, I'm like, yo, like this is actually kind of like funny and cool and and good. And I'm like, fuck, I need to just, but I don't have a story now. I don't have an ending to this like thing that I was doing. Mm-hmm. So this trip that I'm doing to West Texas, that's the concept is to film it with the GoPro, start to finish. I want to incorporate the photography stuff in my video, but not like, I'm not trying to be a YouTuber with photography. I'm just trying to bring that's my element to this motorcycle thing that's different than, say, a lot of other people. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, but I put it on the table. It's like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to edit the video, and if it's stupid, I'm not doing it again. I'm throwing that idea in the trash. Yeah. And I'm done with like this idea of like, man, I want to start a YouTube. I'm like, I'm going to be done with it. I'm like, I don't want to do it. Yeah. I want to focus on this, and I'm that desire or urge is out of the window, and I'm fucking over it. Like I know how to use my Canon, my camera to like, film video, and I got the gimbal, I got all the shit. I can get shit. I can make video, right? But it's like this podcast. If I can't find a streamlined way to produce this stuff and make it look good and good content, then I won't do it. You know what I mean?
It sucks being a one-man show, dude. Yeah. It's
Zack was supposed to like do all this shit for me, but he left.
Yeah, he commented
badges and shit.
Yeah, he was like I'm just trying to support some shit. And then my homie Jackson he got into. Yeah, it's funny that he was watching when I fucking called him out. But yeah, I appreciate you, Jackson. No, as far as like all that shit goes, like the video shit, dude, it is just, it's hard. YouTube, yeah. I've been wanting to do one, and I fucking, unfortunately I posted like a year and a half ago, hey, YouTube coming out soon. I'm going to be I like put it out there, and then I was like, who wants to see a YouTube? People were stoked on it, and then got good feedback. And
I remember you doing it.
Yeah. And then I just fucking couldn't get to it, dude, because I was traveling, and I was like, fuck, whole ass other platform. Also, you have to decide when you're shooting if it's going to be vertical or horizontal. And like, Instagram, everything is vertical, horizontal, like YouTube's horizontal. So it's like, I don't know,
a whole different composition.
Yeah, dude, you're just like, fuck, what am I shooting for today?
Yeah. And so I did that too on the trip. I would turn the GoPro sideways, like this will make a good reel, and then back and forth. And I'm like, you know what? I like I said, we already had the reels conversation. I'm not trying to go down there. Mm-hmm. YouTube, I think, is the only air quotes social media thing that's not going to change to the point the way Instagram has, right? So if you're making content on YouTube, I feel like it's a legacy thing that you're going to have more, like you're going to get more out of investing in YouTube if you want to go that route of video than you are going to go on reels, because I don't see like anybody going back and watching your old reels.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not really a thing. I feel like that.
So what's the point in putting in all this time if it's never going to be consumed again after it's like left the feed? As opposed to YouTube, and you put a video out and someone discovers you,
and they go watch everything.
They'll go watch everything you've got on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your video is still going to do well, and they're going to see like, oh man, this dude's come a long way in 3 years of doing something. So like, I just feel like YouTube is a completely better platform to invest if you're going to do YouTube. You know what I mean? Or going to do videos.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And now, I mean, the new GoPro that just came out to solve that problem you just brought up, it shoots in a square format where you can take it and make it horizontal or vertical. That's regardless.
What is it, the 11? The 11?
Yeah, the 11 that just came out. So it has this option of shooting both ways.
I'll probably scoop.
So that you can basically take it from there and go, okay, well, I don't want it, I want this to be a reel, but I also want some of this footage for this. Yeah. I'm sure it's going to crop in and cut something out, but
I'll just wait for the 12 in fucking 6 months. Fuck, dude. I got a GoPro for like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, bro.
I only have the Max. That's the only one I had. I had the 4 and then the Max. And then I haven't got a new one since. But I don't know. I've been wanting to get a new one just for like run and gun type shit.
Yeah.
Because I guess now, like since the 10, they have been pretty good.
The 9, I have the 9 and the 10. The 9 and the 10 are good. They all have newer batteries. You get more time out of it.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. I mean,
For me, the problem is once you shoot with a camera, a real camera, and then you shoot with one of those, like, you're fucking back to
and
Polaroids.
that's kind of the thing is like when it comes to the video stuff that I want to do, like I'm not trying to go full cinematic on people. You know what I mean? I'm trying to just make an interesting video. Now, I would like to get to that point of doing full cinematic stuff, but as a one-man show, there's no way I can take a Canon EOS R5 with an 85 millimeter prime and get anything of me in it. To get the smooth shit that you want at 120 frames a second, like you're not getting. I can't do that by myself. You know what I mean? And
you're gonna have
a lot of shit.
You're gonna have a
that
red
comes in all
camera
this.
soon next month.
fuck. Nah, I ain't got that kind of money.
I do, like with the video stuff. Like I think I am gonna try to go down like the cinematic route. And try to
for
make
sure.
it like a fucking more so just like the Halloween shit that I just did or whatever. Just like especially around this time of the year, like the horror type shit. Like I think it would be really cool to make
horror's
like
the best.
actually not like I don't want to be I don't want to do the typical shit like just I'm gonna fucking go put a girl in like a nun outfit and have her hold a smoke bomb or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I want to like make that shit like a fucking horror vibe, like where like, you know, she's getting fucking killed or she's killing a dude or something. I don't know, something gory and shit. I don't know. I want to try to shoot shit like that and like movie type stuff. You know what I mean? Not
100%.
just like a gimmick.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not saying that shit ain't cool. That I ultimately want to be there, but it's to my statement earlier about like if I'm gonna get this off the ground, I can't make it such a big hurdle. I need it to be a stepstone.
Yeah.
And eventually, as I get better talking on camera, as I get better understanding of what's going to be usable content to film and not film, you just kind of like after the first like maybe 5 or 10 videos, like I think after that it'll be kind of streamlined, where I think I'll be more adept to bringing in a camera to start doing more of a B-roll thing.
Yeah.
Because B-roll up front is going to be like, oh look, I'm passing this bridge. Hey, look, guys.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That's why
A lot of people have been asking me, you know.
That's why I think I would get like a GoPro now. I think too is so I can shoot like YouTube on that.
Yeah.
You know, just like fucking be able to like run and gun with that, and it will be good enough for like YouTube quality. You know,
one of my favorite YouTube follows right now is a film photographer, and it's called Grainy Days, and this dude's got like super low energy, dry humor. He does a lot of film stuff. It's kind of all like landscapes and architectural, like super just random shit. But I just love this dude's channel. I have other than what I just said, that's all I can say. But I fucking watch every one of the videos, sometimes more than once. I'm like, I just like the vibe.
USA.
And so with him, like he walks around and he'll talk about this camera, and then he'll go walk around and he'll like he says he does digital too, so he has a different shutter sound whenever he like does a shut like a film versus a whatever. But he'll like walk around. He'll either he has another camera on the camera, like on the hot shoe or the cold shoe or whatever. And then he'll walk around, and you'll see it, and then you'll hear that click, and then you'll see the photo he got out of it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's just like those
types of shit like that.
Those kind of elements
cool.
I want to bring into like a motorcycle thing. Like, you know, if I go like I have this idea of this like this shot I want to get, and my hope is that I'll have something relative to say about it. Hey, this shot I've been wanting this shot right here, you know, and this is what I'm doing. I'm going to shoot it with the 85 millimeter. I got my bike set up. I'm using a speed light over here. And I don't know, let's see how this goes. And then set it on a tripod or whatever the fuck, get a couple shots, and then show the photography I got on the video amongst like still it's a travel video. I'm going to the run to Terralingua and doing all this other shit. You know what I'm saying? Like something different. Because I cannot stand watching people ride bikes on YouTube. Like
Oh, and just
like a
listen to
helmet
them talk.
cam,
Yeah.
and I just can't do it. And I know a lot of people love that, and that's fine. I can't do it because I don't like it, and so there's no way I can put that kind of content out. But I know that I'll have to have some writing stuff. I mean, I'm gonna have to selfie stick it or something.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know. I want it to just, like I said, it might not be cool, but I want to do it, and if I have fun doing it, I'll probably keep doing it, and eventually it might catch on with an audience.
I think a good thing to do in the beginning would be to find somebody that you like their YouTube channel, and then go to the oldest video, the very first one they ever posted that's still available on there, and watch that one first.
Yeah.
Because you already watched the new shit, but watch where they started.
Yeah.
So that you can at least put yourself not to where they are 10 years into their YouTube channel,
yeah,
but
for
at least
sure.
you can kind of see like, okay, they fucking sucked. Their first video is trash. So then if you make one and you feel like it's trash, you're like,
The only thing that sucks is like I already have like 4,500 people following my YouTube, which is pretty. It's not a lot in a lot of people's world, but for a lot of people out there, it's like
it's bigger than the town I'm from. So. That's like
Oh,
everybody in my
yeah.
hometown's watching.
so.
this
Like
shit.
people are like waiting
Shit.
for another podcast. I dropped this video and it's like super low quality, low budget shit, and they're like, "Oh, dude, I thought this dude had some swag with him." It's like, dude ain't got no sauce.
Need that sauce, baby.
All right. Well, hey, we've been doing 3 hours since we
One more,
fucked
one
up.
more. I got one more thing
Alright.
because for the motorcycle guys that are still fucking listening, how do you like your new fucking bike? They told me to
Oh,
ask you
yeah,
that before
right.
the sound's fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean, I had the 2020 Lowrider S, and it's it's like that with fucking bags and a little bit like bigger motor.
You like the
so.
fairing?
Yeah, I fuck with the fairing. I like that. And what's funny is I was already kind of going that direction. I was going to go that direction with my 2020 and get bags and all that. And then
Yeah.
they came out with that. So I was just like, well, fuck it. I'll just trade my shit
Makes
in
sense. Yeah.
and fucking, get that. But yeah, it's coming together. Right now I'm on my way to Cali with it. So I'll be out there with that and fucking get the rest of my parts put onto it finally.
When are you gonna be in Cali?
Shit, after I leave here.
For real?
After I leave here, I'll be in Huntington Beach for Moto Beach Classic and all that.
Is that this weekend?
15th, I believe. Yeah.
It's like
15th.
Sunday, I think.
Yeah, shit's coming up. That's why I was just like, shit, I was like passing through. I was like, I might as well hit up Jace. I know he's somewhere in fucking Texas. I didn't know. I was just like,
Saturday,
luckily
yeah.
it fucking worked out because
Yeah.
we've been trying to do this for a while. But yeah, I don't know. The bike's sick, and I'll probably hold on to it for a while.
Yeah, this is gonna come out Wednesday on the 12th, so
Yeah.
before then. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, I really appreciate it, man. Like I said, it was a bumpy start.
Yeah, I know.
And if
we were
anybody-
still on, and we didn't know it was still on. Like,
Yeah.
oh man, we sound like robots and shit. Like we were. Like,
I don't know, man. I'm gonna look into that tomorrow. Fortunately, I don't have
Yeah.
any other podcasts this week, but I got a bunch next week.
Yeah.
Because next week is like before Born Free, and we
Mm-hmm.
got people coming to town, so it's like I'm gonna have to go buy another soundboard or some shit for that. I don't know. We'll see what's wrong with it, but no, I appreciate it, man. Like I said, just knowing you is kind of like a great thing because of, like you said, about the community of knowing other creatives to kind of bounce ideas from and whatnot. And when it comes to photography, man, like being able to send like, hey man, this is a shot I got. Like, what do you think about it? You know what I mean? Like get real critiques from people that aren't like I don't want to put my photo online and be like, hey you guys, what do you think about this photo? And then everybody just looks for the shit that's like just anything negative to say,
Yeah.
you know?
Need some
Or they did the
constructive.
opposite and they're like, oh my God, it's beautiful. It's amazing. You're wonderful. You're the Jesus Christ of Canon cameras.
It's
like,
like-
bro, like I need some real CC.
Get some
here,
constructive, criticism.
That's what
and-
that one group's good for. That's what I do the most there. I post something and I'm like, hey, I don't need feel good right now. Like
That's what-
I'm trying to figure out how to get better. Like tell me how can this picture be better?
Yeah.
Fucking Deus is that for me.
For real?
Sometimes I'll ask him, his like input on shit. Shout out to fucking Deus. He was on the podcast a week ago.
Yeah, like last week
Yeah.
we released it, I think, or the week before.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool, man. He's gonna be coming out here for Born Free, so hopefully you'll be out here too. Oh,
Yeah.
you'll be stuck in doing the nuclear stuff.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking FOMO, dude. I have
What a
that
fucking
shit.
loser, dude.
I know. Working a regular job and shit, dude.
Don't
You should
try.
just quit before Born Free and just say, you know what? Fuck it. Born Free is when I'm going to be born free.
I know, dude.
What's up?
It's
I'm gonna
the
be
first
born-
one.
I'm going to be born free of this nuclear shit.
Yeah,
What's up?
for real. Like the nuke shit. It's killing me.
Well, everybody can find you at Chopskee, 2 E's.
Yeah.
On Instagram. Anything? Do you have any other like places people can go check out your stuff?
Website's going up this winter.
For real?
Also, photography will get that shit up and going. My website, because I've been slacking on that really hard.
Me too. I think I'm about to switch over from. I've had a WordPress website forever. I think I'm switching over to Squarespace, which costs more, but it's easier to operate yourself.
That counts for something.
Yeah. You don't have to buy widgets to put in there to like, they just have a photo gallery to put your photos in, and then they're all separated. Like, I don't know. That's off topic shit. All right, Chop, thanks.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks for coming. I appreciate your help.
I fucked up this shit. I fucked it up.
Zach over here sabotaged the soundboard, so we had to cut off the live and go straight to just audio and
Instagram Live, baby.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, man. Yo, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I want to thank Chop and Zach for coming out and sitting in the podcast. We didn't get out of the shop till like 1 something in the morning, but man, I had a great time, man. You know, like hanging out with people who are into the stuff that you're into, like the photography and all the little nerd stuff behind it that we were going over. Man, it was just, it was invaluable just to be able to do that with such talented people such as Zack and Chopskee. So thanks again, Chop. Thanks, Zack. Hope you guys enjoyed this and got a little bit of a peek inside the life or the concepts behind these photographers that you see on the gram all over the place. And yeah, hopefully we're going to see you guys at Born Free Texas next week. It is Thursday, the pre-party at Strokers Dallas. If you're going to be coming through to Born Free, or if you want to come be a part of something rad, it's going down. We got Simpson coming out. We got Lindahl Brakes coming out. We got Steve from Speed Kings out in California going to be there. The FXR division guys, Hang 'em High Customs. It's going to be a rad time. I just talked to Millhouse from Thunder Max. They'll be there too. And I heard there's a bunch of giveaways. Shit you want. So don't miss it. There'll be flyers all over the gram. Check it out. Come out. Bring your bike. Just have a good time. And yeah, if you're headed to the Run to Terralingua, I'm headed there later on tonight. Can't wait to get out there and check that out. So if you're out there, say what's up. And yeah, I'll say what's up back. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. Check out our sponsors. We brought on Arlen Ness this month, and there's a great deal for you guys in there if you check them out. I've been running their products, and I've been running their mid controls, man, and they're the shit. I didn't want to say anything about them. I wanted to run them for a couple weeks and make sure that everything that I needed out of mid controls was there, and they are, and they're the shit. And you don't have to change your exhaust. You don't have to do none of that shit. So good stuff. Check them out. We're going to see you on the next podcast, which will be next week. Till then, y'all be good. Peace.